the comments, somebody says, try living in the United Kingdom. We are in trouble. How are you in trouble in the United Kingdom? I'd be curious to know. And somebody followed you up. Perhaps both of you are from the United Kingdom, because I see in the comments, Craig says, try living in the UK. We are in trouble. And Kurt Pratt follows up by saying, how are we in trouble in the UK? So apparently I got two individuals from the United Kingdom that are disagreeing with each other. Before we get into the Southern Poverty Law Center scandal, these are some paraphrasing these are some quotes from President Trump in regards to the Iranian conflict, excursion, war, whatever you want to call it, over the last, we're on week 8. We're in week 8 of that war. Remember, President Trump's indicated that the war would only go on for 2 to 4 weeks. We're currently on week 8. And now President Trump yesterday is saying he's in no rush or hurry to get it over with. So go figure there. And I've seen the comments. Craig says politics over here are crazy. Well, politics everywhere is crazy. I mean, you think politics here in America is any better? Did you not see what happened here on January 6th? I haven't seen that in the UK. So politics here are worse. President Trump is suggesting that they tried to kill him twice. Politics here is much worse than it is in the UK. Last 8 weeks, we won. We won on the first day. This is paraphrasing from President Trump, saying we won the Iran war within the first few hours. In fact, if I can bring up the clip, he said we had won it in the first few hours. Then he indicated later on that Iran was begging for a ceasefire. As you may be aware, probably via some Lego videos, that the Iranian government stated, we haven't begged for any such thing, and that your president is lying to you. Iran immediately stated, we haven't been begging for any ceasefire. In fact, President Trump was stating that he was negotiating with Iranians. And they said, we're not negotiating with him. He's talking to himself, is the phrase they used. Additionally, as I mentioned, Trump said the war would last 2 to 4 weeks. If we're in week 8, he indicated a few different times that the Strait of Hormuz was open, even telling some of the ships to go ahead and use it because it's open, only to have them try to be fired upon by the Iranian government. And I believe they destroyed a couple tankers trying to go through the strait at President Trump's urging. Not to mention, over the last few days, they actually jumped on board and seized one. Some Iranian commandos actually seized the ship, and I'm sure some of you folks have probably seen the footage of that. The Iranian Navy has been decimated. It's another statement Trump has made. All of their vessels are at the bottom of the sea, which is interesting considering that they were just seen seizing vessels the other day. He indicated we could fly over their country and there's nothing they can do about it, only a few days before they shot down several American aircraft. An A-10, Warthog, an F-15. But a couple days earlier, he had said we could fly over their country and there's nothing they can do about it. So what I'm asking, simply put, is why is he saying so many things that seem to not culminate into fruition or to not seem to be based on reality? President Trump, make no mistake about it, is being very transparent with the American people about what's going on in Iran. That's a good thing. You want a president to give you, the fact, not want to say the facts. I'm trying to hesitate to say that word, but you want the president to talk to the people. You don't want the president to be missing in action. You want him to communicate with the people. But if the statements he's saying are not seeming to come true or be rooted in, fact, what good are they? So I do want to ask, why do you believe he is saying all of these things that do not seem to culminate into reality? And by the way, in that live, and we'll go to the comment section shortly and start talking to some folks that heard me. When President Trump stated a whole civilization will die, what did he say, on Tuesday or something like that, I had MAGA viewers. I was debating with some MAGA. They're telling me that did not mean everybody in Iran. So I do want to hear from you folks. What does the phrase a whole civilization will die mean to you? Because MAGA is indicating it only meant a few select people. Go figure. So I do want to talk to you about that. And we'll even get into, the notion that Iran chose to blow up an elementary school full of its own kids, according to the Trump administration. Why is he saying all of this stuff that doesn't seem to be turning out to be valid is what I want to ask. But of course, before we get into any of that, as I stated, we are going to talk about whether or not there's any validity to the charges coming forward on the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Today, a few minutes ago, in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. The indictment describes this conduct in detail, but one troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of 1 person and injured dozens more. This particular person being paid by the SPLC allegedly received approximately $270,000 over the course of 8 years. In total, according to the indictment, between 2014 and 2023, SPLC paid at least $3 million to 8 individuals at least. These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan, United Klans of America, National Socialist Movement, Aryan Nations Affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, Nazis, and the American Front.
Now,
good afternoon.
Imagine, now those groups that were named, I couldn't write them all down, but I bet you those groups are going around, other than maybe the KKK and the Nazis, I bet you all of those other groups are going around telling folks they're not racist. So understand now that the Southern Poverty Law Center is being charged by Trump's DOJ, indicating that they're funding these racist groups, he kind of removed their ability to deny that they're racist going forward. Because I bet you those groups that he named were going around telling people, we're not racist, you're just mislabeling us, such as the Unite the Right. Why would a group Unite the Right be considered racist when almost everyone on the right says they're not racist? Think about that. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're going to suggest that they're funding white supremacists and hate groups, and then you name the groups they're funding, you've exposed those groups as being racist. And that's coming from the Trump administration. They have met the Trump administration's level of what is considered racism. So understand that in the future going forward, if you hear those groups saying that they're not racist, the Trump administration has already exposed them. And by the way, real quick before I go to the comments, how many times during racial arguments have you heard people say the Klan doesn't exist anymore and I don't know why you're playing victim? You keep bringing up the Klan. They've been gone for years. Well, once again, now that the Trump administration is indicating they're receiving millions of dollars, it's kind of hard to deny they're not active and alive and well. So they are perhaps in effort to go after the Southern Poverty Law Center, exposing a hell of a lot of racism from groups that have been denying that they're racist. That's going to come up. That's absolutely going to come up in future discussions going forward. All of those groups he just named, from this point forward, you can't claim that those groups aren't racist because they're kind of admitting it at this point. Anyway, looking in the comment section, by the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 20,000. We'll start out by taking a caller And that would be the one and only Gangsta Grandma, because you were in that live stream. They let you talk for all of 10 seconds. Hang on a second. I got to get my. So they gave you about 10 seconds of conversation.
They did it. The snow roach called me a bitch.
Yes, you were called a bitch. I did see that.
Yeah, I didn't say nothing. I was gonna say hi to you. I was saying hi to your ugly ass, and they said bitch, and then I was like, oh hell no, this white trailer trash ass.
Not only did she called you a bitch, and then immediately muted your mic. When she unmuted your mic and you questioned why did you call me a bitch, then they dropped you from the program. Then she just dropped you.
I promise you. You know, because I'm not going to kiss their white trailer trash asses. Those fucking hamster buckets. You know what I mean? Fucking trailer trash ass hood rat. But anyway.
Okay, hold on. Before you continue, for anybody wondering, the woman she's talking about, she goes by the name of what? You got haters for real.
I'll be nice.
For folks who are wondering, that person goes by the name of Mother. You've seen her on Natalie's Live. You've seen her on a lot of lives. She goes by the name of Mother. But she was the one that called Gangsta Grandma. And oddly enough, Gangsta Grandma had not attacked her. She attacked Gangsta Grandma first and gave her no chance to respond.
Let me tell you. I got something for her ass because I know where she. Yep. People is in my inbox. You feel what I'm saying? Yes, buddy. Karma's coming. You don't want to drag her to the pits of hell.
Well, speaking of karma, is karma now coming for the Southern Poverty Law Center?
No, I just think that the white tea supremacists is trying to stop. Because they go after the white tea supremacists. Now all of a sudden. They're doing something. Come on, man. All this is rigged.
Are they going after the white supremacists or are they funneling money to them? That's what the Trump administration is saying.
Do you think, really? They've been fighting the white tea supremacists. Now all of a sudden, it's all about money grab. I can't. I don't trust them. I don't.
Well, as you see on my screen, here are the numbers according to the one and only very honorable and honest Fox News. Fox News said,
"Oh my God, Fox News! Entertainment.
They've given $300,000 to the Aryan Nations affiliate."
Do you really think the Democrats are going to do that? I mean, come on, man. They are in. Oh my God!
$270,000 to unite the right. 73,000 to.
They're trying everything. You know what? They're trying everything to throw shit everywhere because they're gonna get busted for the trading and shit. Donald Trump has made more than $6 billion since he's been in office. You know what I mean? United States is bankrupt, and now they're trying to say this shit. It's like everything. They're throwing so much at people to do what? So the Epstein files won't come out. I'm so sick of this damn country. But you know what's funny, though? We paid $50 billion for this WAR, but we couldn't fund our schools. We can't feed our kids at school. People can't they cut people off of food stamps. But yet, we could give $50 billion to a WAR that he started.
Well, two things I want to ask you. First of all, there's money for war because there's money to be made off war. You don't make any money off of feeding starving kids. That's the first reason. Second,
health care. We're taking people out of the. Do you know? And you guys can Google this if you don't believe me. Do you know they're taking people out of the old folks' home and putting them to shelters and shit? You know that they're doing that now. Google's free.
Why would they take him out?
Got his big, beautiful bill. They're kicking people off. The big, beautiful bill. But yet we can't even help them. But we can send $50 billion for a WAR. And now he wants another $1 trillion on top of it.
Yeah, but how do you respond to President Trump stating that while this is costing a lot, the battle in Iran, it will give us a non-nuclear Iran, meaning it's worth it.
You know what? If he would have kept his white tea ass in his lane, and quit being so jealous of a black man as a president, and didn't undo what Obama did, we wouldn't be in this situation. If he would have kept his mouth shut like he did, like he knows it all, kept the work together, kept what Obama did, the treaty, so they wouldn't do it. You feel me?
Yeah, but
we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah, but the argument is
he did all of this, Tim. He did all of this. His first day, he took it off. Now it's like, oh, they're making them. You started the whole shit.
Well, you can't just blame it on him, gangster.
It is him.
No, hear me out. First of all, President Trump campaigned on the Iran deal is ineffective and it's a bad deal. And people voted for him.
You know why he said that, Tim? You know why he said that? Because a black man did it. Everything.
I'm just saying. The man campaigned on he was going to get out of that deal. Kamala Harris did not campaign on that. The people chose him. So obviously the people wanted that deal to end.
That people chose him. Let me tell you something. The people elected a rapist. People elected a pedo. People elected a con man. They believed everything this white tea trailer trash said.
Well,
like the first go round. But they had people to stop it. That's why it wasn't so bad. Now we don't have nobody stopping it. We're in a WAR. Putting $50 billion, but we can't even give our own people health care. Can't feed our poor people. Oh, we're so broke, right? Our gas is through the damn roof. Our food is through the damn roof. You can't even feed your kids at school. Free lunch program. Okay? But we can send $50 billion over there, and now he wants another $1 trillion. And this is what they voted for. You feel what I'm saying? They voted for, you know what? Racism is very expensive. Because they didn't like black and brown people here. They want this country to be white tea. This country never was white tea.
Well, how about this? While you're talking, News Nation has a ticker that says Trump states Iran plans to make an offer. What if Iran submits to Trump? If Iran submits to Trump and Trump gets what he wants, would you give him credit for a successful conflict?
I don't believe anything that Kermit the Frog is saying to us. We cannot. You know what I mean? Like ribbit. That's all he does is lie. And then here they come making a Lego thing saying you're a liar. Come on, man.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Do you actually believe those Lego videos? You actually believe that?
You know what? I love my California one. Did you see the California one? We did the hip hop.
Yeah, that actually.
Low riders and all. Yeah, we did that one too. Kylie's a bomb, man.
Let me hold on. Let me check the comments by way of yes or no in the comment section. How many of you folks actually believe what's being released in those Lego videos, or do you think it's just propaganda? Yes, if you believe it, there's a lot of them. They release them pretty fucking quick too. Yes or no? How many of you folks? I know a lot of you folks have seen those Lego videos. How many of you folks believe the information featured in them?
I believe them.
Wow. I see somebody said 75% of them are true. Yeah, most of the people are saying yes.
I mean, come on. You know what, Tim? You know what? Yeah, they are a threat to us. But Obama had them on. You know what I mean? Obama did the damn thing. They wasn't for us. Oh, North Korea is a threat too. Why is he not doing that? China is a threat to us. Why is he not going over there? You know why?
They got nukes.
You know why?
They got nukes.
Yeah. They're not going to... China will wipe us up. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Well, we're not exactly...
He's trying to... That white team man wants something from them. And it's called oil.
We're not exactly having an easy time with Iran, to be honest with you.
No, because they're fighting back. You know what I mean? They're fighting back because he thought he was going to be like Venezuela. You know what I mean? We don't even use Venezuela's oil. This is how dumb people are. It has so much salt in it. It will eat our whatever the thing they keep our oil in. It will eat the oil, eat the barrels that we put them in. So we can never use that oil.
I want to ask you something, and I think this is worthy of discussing. It's by one of the individuals in the comment section. It's a common sentiment on conversations like this. Stevie D, a friend of the program, he's MAGA. Stevie D says, here's everyone anti-American live and pro-China and Iran. What about the notion that criticizing the government's actions in Iran, or even believing Iran via those Lego videos, makes you anti-American and pro-Iran?
You know what's anti-American? I thought there was America first. Anti-American is spending $50 billion on a WAR that we started. Anti-America is when you're kissing a white tea man's ass and being his little bimbo and sucking on his you-know-what. And he's screwing all of us. He's anti-American. He's stealing from his own damn people. He's suing his own damn people for his taxes. Give me a break. We can criticize our country because what he's doing is illegal.
How is he?
We did not send billions of dollars to Ukraine. We gave him all military equipment. Get your facts straight. That's why he likes the uneducated.
How is he screwing us over, though?
Really, Tim?
I gotta ask for the people.
He made $6 billion on this alone whatever. I don't say pregnancy, but you know what I mean? He's too fucking ugly to even get pregnant. But that, what you call it? If he could
My God.
Shit, oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, God. You know what I feel for? Is his wife. That she had to see him fudging naked.
Well, wait. First of all, understand Melania's been with Trump for years, so he wasn't like that.
Yeah, she probably put a trash bag over his whole damn body, man. I could never. That is a nasty. Good God, I couldn't be that damn desperate for some pinky winky. Oh God, I couldn't be that damn desperate.
Well, gangster, the guy is like 80 years old. Most dudes are not sexy at 80.
Yeah, and have you seen him lately? He has a coochie on his chin. That's a straight up coochie. I've never seen something like that. A coochie. Like, damn, dog. You got all this money and you couldn't even get a facelift on God?
Would you rather bang Biden instead?
I wouldn't bang nothing that's white tea. Nothing uncooked is coming in my coochie. It has to be chocolate all day.
Wait, hold on. When you're complaining about Trump's looks, like I said, the man will be 80 years old in November. Do you know anybody that's sexy at 80?
Oh, there's a lot of black men that look good.
Give me a name.
Damn.
Give me a name of a sexy 80-year-old.
Looking good. Well, I don't know about 80 because I haven't seen him yet.
Right.
But I'll be damn. I know there gotta be some fine men that looks 80. There is some older men, I promise you, that black, that have white hair and shit. That damn. You feel me? Like, damn.
You would engage
black
in
don't crack, baby. Black don't crack.
You're hating on Trump. You would engage in intimacy with an 80-year-old?
No.
Right.
No,
so don't make it sound like something's wrong with Trump. You wouldn't do with anybody that old.
But they cute though.
Who's cute at 80?
He cute ass older men. Will I ever touch him? No, because I like you know.
So in other words, there's nothing wrong with Trump. You treat all 80-year-old men like they're off limits.
There's nothing wrong with Trump. What are you talking about? He's the Antichrist. He's the devil in disguise. He's the walking STD looking crap. I would never touch that. On my worst day, I would never touch that.
You would, but I repeat, you would not touch any 80-year-old.
No, I won't.
Right. So quit making it sound like something's wrong with Trump.
But there's some cute. I said, Tim, there's some cute ones, but I would never do that because I'm not physically attracted to them. But they are cute, and I give them props.
Who the fuck is cute at 80?
Would I ever give that man props? Hell to the fucker no.
And not only am I wondering who the fuck is cute at 80, why are you using cute in conjunction with somebody so damn old? Cute?
Or handsome, you're ugly. I'll tell you you muppet. I tell you, you're ugly every damn day, muppet.
Well, I'm not quite 80.
And I still want that damn divorce because you be doing the most, man. I can't stand you half the damn time no more because you be cupcaking, fluffing. Let me tell you something, Tim. You let those white tea people on that live today walk all over you.
Really?
Tim. Get some kahunas. I got a JJ, and my balls are bigger than yours, and I know I got a JJ because I'll go up.
That's because the right will tell you damn liberals don't know what a woman is. That's why you got a JJ and testicles. You don't know what a woman is.
I know. See, that's all they got is oh my God, Tim. They don't know what a woman is. We know what a woman is. We know what a woman is. Do you know what they do though? You know what their husbands do though?
What are you about to say? They took Gangster Grandma off the program, and I don't think she was doing that bad, did they? Anyway, tap the screen. You guys know what happens. It's kind of par for the course. No, you don't, Tim. Love the Cruz. What did I say? In the comments, good guy. Love that name. No, I can't give him credit because so many people died because of him, because of so many people, lack of medical, gas prices, food, for a war that was unnecessary. Wow. So you believe President Trump has deaths on his hands? You think he's actually caused the death of people, huh? The death of Americans? Yes or no in the comments. By the way, for my YouTube viewers, I need you guys to do me a solid. I need you to tap the like button. It'll help out the algorithm. I need you to bring in some more viewers, brings in more MAGA and all of that shit. So if you're watching on YouTube, hell, if you're watching on TikTok as well, smash that like button. But certainly, if you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. In the comments, Mr. G starts out by saying, says Trump and MAGA ain't shit, trying to get Southern Poverty Law Center out of the way because they are the only ones really calling out white supremacist groups. Well, and there's some validity to that. And to me, that's where I have the problem is that right now, with them saying that the Southern Poverty Law Center is doing all this, and you got Kash Patel and all of these folks involved in it, there's no denying that if you go after Trump, Trump will go after you. He will use the DOJ like he did with Pam Bondi. Now he's just using her replacement or whatever. So, and Kash Patel too, they're all kind of sue happy against their adversaries. And the Southern Poverty Law Center is a big adversary of the Trump administration. So we'll see how it goes in court. But I had a hell of a lot of folks on the right suggesting that I was defending all their criminal activity and things like that because I made the simple statement. Right now, what they're saying about the SPLC is simply accusations. Remember when Trump got indicted 80 some odd times? While it's in the indictment stage, it's just an accusation. Until you're convicted of it, it's just an accusation. President Trump, due to him winning the presidency again, a lot of the stuff that Jack Smith and Fonnie Willis and all of them were working on got dropped. So it's an accusation that MAGA doesn't believe. Remember how weaponized Biden's DOJ was, according to MAGA? You don't think that applies now? You think Trump's DOJ is unbiased, just holding up the law? Justice is blind. Is that what we're supposed to believe? Anyway, looking in the, and by the way, yes, love the Cruz. I pushed back despite what Gangster Grandma said. I was taking on 5 motherfuckers at once in that live, and I was handling them. I was in there for over an hour. And when I left, plenty of folks in the comment section, and I didn't leave, they actually kicked me off. Calling me all kinds of names. And then the woman mother, the one that called Gangster Grandma a bitch, indicated she was in the shower and she had been grown tired of listening to me speak. So I'm like, damn, are you naked? So now all of a sudden, because I'm asking if she's naked or not, I'm being disrespectful. After the whole damn panel been calling me all kinds of morons and jackasses. MAGA started out coming down the golden escalator talking about how they didn't like snowflakes and you need to have thicker skin. Oddly enough, when I go into MAGA rooms, their skin is not that thick. If I talk to MAGA the way, let's say, Gangster Grandma, Takesha, some of them talk to me on my live, they can't handle it. They cannot handle it. They start blocking you and kicking you. MAGA complains about snowflakes, but they sure don't take it very well. Anyway, looking in the comments, oh, that's what it was. Thanks for reminding me. The DOJ just dropped charges against Powell, and Powell can retire. That is true. I heard that. Judge Jeanine Pirro, of all people, dropped charges. Remember, he was the messenger with the interest rates and shit. Didn't give Trump the news he wanted to hear, so they decided to fuck with him. Yeah, they dropped charges against him. I just read that not long ago. somebody says mother sounds creepy. That is a creepy ass name, kind of like you ever seen the movie Get Out where the woman steering the tea? Kind of reminds me of that type of shit. Because they can't handle the truth, says facts only. I don't know. But let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. This is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We're always MAGA friendly. Even though MAGA seems to be dwindling in some numbers, we will always remain MAGA friendly, no matter how unfriendly the rest of the country becomes to MAGA. But we will remain MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor you. You can speak your opinions here without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you. You can be critical of anybody on this program, including yours truly. What do we say? Our comments go left of Mamdani till I'm having dinner with Q. President candidate raided, impeached twice, 2 attempts on his life, taped Russiagate. Well, some of this stuff you're saying, I don't know if it's actually valid because it came from President Trump only. Like, for instance, President Trump said Obama taped his, was wiretapping his office or something. I see you put that in your spiel there. Have you seen any evidence of that? Other than Trump saying that President Obama wiretapped his office, have you seen any evidence of that whatsoever? Understand President Trump is doing a phenomenal job depending on how you view him. If you take what Trump says at face value, he's a very successful president. If you ask questions, not so much so. But he did say Obama wiretapped his office. He didn't prove any of that. He has control in the Department of Justice at this point. Statute of limitations hasn't expired. Why isn't he going after him? If Obama wiretapped his office, why isn't he doing? And by the way, that happened in his first term. Why didn't he try to have Obama prosecuted? So I don't know if that actually is based on any reality. And he has a lot of power right now. If Obama wiretapped his office, do something about it. He's going after hotels and colleges and shit, but you're gonna let a president get away with that? Driver 22. By the way, I haven't asked, but help your boy out with the TikTok cap, hat and mustache, if you will. Support the program. You know what I always say. Tap the screen, by the way. Real quick in the comments, and prepare for the crypto system, which is backed by nothing, not even gold. Crypto is concerning to me. I don't know what happened to my last guest. It didn't come up. Blood of Cruz. Appreciate the hat and mustache. Debo, certainly as well. We'll make it happen with love to Cruz, by the way. Good evening, love to. Thank you, folks that have shown some support for the program. Thank you much indeed. Love to Cruz. Good evening.
Hey, I think you read that wrong. I seen you on the. You're doing good, man. You had your rope-a-dope on. You're back. Hey, I thought when Gangsta Grandma said you were sucking up to us, and no, you didn't.
Yeah, I was wondering what made it. Well, see, Gangsta Grandma, her level of pushing back is damn near going on Esther on a motherfucker. I don't go that wild with it. Gangsta Grandma want to tell you you're sucking dick and swallowing cum and all kinds of shit like that. I don't look. We can have a debate without me telling you you're hanging out with Peter North during an orgasm. So
yeah, we don't need for all that.
Yeah,
but
so
you blew it. You went Gangsta Grandma when you told her, "Hey, mommy, I want to. Mother, I want to talk to you. You naked." You went Gangsta Grandma there, man.
Well, listen.
And that's when they got rid of you. They were looking for an excuse.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to the naked lady. I want to talk to.
Well, she came. She said she had been listening to me and was tired of hearing me telling lies and shit while she was in the shower.
She tried to get ready for a shower. Yeah.
But by the way, when she came on, she was insulting the hell out of me. I don't know why me talking about her being naked was suddenly crossing the line with all the shit they were saying about me.
Because you were getting to them, and then they used her as an excuse to drop you.
Yeah.
Because you weren't getting to them,
And I'm taking on 5 motherfuckers at once. And every time, because some of my viewers come up, anywhere I go, some of my viewers will see me on and go over there. First it was Stick the Ruler. Stick the Ruler came up there because he was agreeing with some of my opinions. They gave him all of maybe a half a sentence before they got rid of him. Then maybe 30 minutes later, Gangsta Grandma comes up there. They call her a bitch, mute her mic. And then when they unmuted her mic, she just simply asked, why'd you call me a bitch? And then they dropped her too. So I'm like, what the hell? So, and I see in the comments, Juice says they muted me as well. I don't mute anybody on this program. I don't get it, but for them to talk about snowflakes all the time, they sure seem to do exactly what they talk about.
Yeah, they're on you. They're on you. And you know what? Them panels, it's amazing how they can only see one side of things. They have no accountability, and it's just ridiculous sometimes. You know, the only reason I watched it because you were on there, and I was like, okay, let me see what Tim's going to do. Okay, Tim, all right, you was doing your thing. You know, there's too many of them.
Yeah, yeah, because what ends up happening is you can barely get a sentence out because you're taking on 5 people. I don't mind taking on a bunch of MAGA or even discussing things with a bunch of liberals at once, but that's the reason why I only bring up one guest is for shit like that. You can't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah. Hey, but you know that that tanker that you mentioned that the Iranians took over?
Mm-hmm.
You know who that belongs to, right?
Was it India?
No, that's MSC. You know
the cruise ship people? What was MSC?
MSC is the cruise. They're originally called Mediterranean Shipping Company. They started out, they're the biggest shipping company in the world.
Wow.
And now they try to move over to the cruising part.
But what country is that ship registered in, though?
Oh man.
I thought I heard India.
If they do like the cruising, then it might be registered in India. I'm not sure.
Well, whatever the case may be, it really doesn't matter where it's registered. President Trump indicated that they were, for the most part, hapless. They had no military, they had no Navy, no Air Force, they couldn't do shit, and yet they're still actively doing stuff.
Well, they got 2 dozen of bad motherfuckers that took over the ship. So
They look like ICE getting on that ship, didn't they?
Yeah, with the mask.
Like Trump don't. You talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center being a scam? Trump don't put some ICE on one of these vessels and try to say it was the Iranians. They look just like ICE getting on there.
They look like ICE jumping on there, but they took over the.
Yeah.
2 of the MSC has 2 ships over there, and they had 2 cruise ships. Yeah. They let the cruise ships out.
So. The question I've been asking is, with him saying things like, we won the war in the first few hours and they don't, we can fly over their country and bomb up whatever we want and they can't do nothing about it. And then a couple of days later, they're shooting down American jets. Why is he getting so much of this wrong?
He's not trying to get it right.
Not even trying?
Lies. He's telling lies. It's easy to, when you're not trying to get it right, what are you trying to do? You're lying about everything.
I had folks like Straight Talk Commerce that says Trump ain't never lied. MAGA doesn't see Trump as telling lies like you're saying.
MAGA's a lie. But look here. The same way he did with COVID, I'm not going to say anything or it's going to be gone in 2 weeks. It'll be gone by April. It's the same playbook he's running for the war. Same exact playbook.
Explain.
Just what I said. With COVID, he said, it's going to be gone in a minute. With the war, it'll be over in a minute. COVID, numbers are going down. The war, we have control. Same playbook, just different stories.
That's an interesting point because MAGA Reacts used to say that, he says this stuff because he don't want the people to worry. That's why he said COVID would be gone by April. He didn't want the people to worry. Maybe is it possible that he don't want folks to worry that the war is going to get out of control? So he's just releasing a positive message, just like he did with the pandemic.
Is it possible? Maybe he's just a lying motherfucker.
Are you suggesting that our commander-in-chief of this great nation is dishonest?
No, I'm seeking the facts.
Well, he don't always lie now. Come on now. I mean, wow. The way you said that, I can't help it. So I don't even know where to go with that. But I mean, because in reality, he has said a lot of things about this Iranian conflict that is, at the very least, is questionable. At the worst, just sounds like you just made this up out of thin air. I mean, he is saying a lot of things, because first he was saying, like you said, it would be over in 2 to 4 weeks. We're currently on week 8 now, and now he's saying, well, I'm in no rush.
Exactly. It's the same playbook, man. That's what he does. He's lying. He doesn't want us to know. And, you know, I hope, and as somebody that has family members over there and family members in the military, I hope he's not lying and putting everybody in jeopardy. You know, I'd rather for him just to, I hate to say it, just come on back home. Bring them back home. You know, and
but wait a minute. If he just bring them back home, you're going to leave the 60% enriched uranium in Iran? You're going to leave the same regime in place in Iran? You're going to leave the protesters to continue being slaughtered by the government? Are you going to just come home and leave all that in place?
You know what? These motherfuckers make me mad. How often do you sit here up here in your day before the war started? Before the war started, how often were you sitting up here even talking or thinking, man, I hope Iran doesn't hit us with a nuclear bomb? How often does that come in your head, man?
It was a lot of, it was coming in the head of MAGA quite often.
It wasn't until that punk motherfucker brought it up. It wasn't coming up in nobody's head. Wasn't nobody even thinking about Iran and launching nuclear weapons over here. And if they did, like you said, you know, if you launch your one nuclear bomb over here,
we're going to send you back 100.
Yeah, exactly. So what sense has that made? You know, it doesn't make sense at all. You know, but once again, this is the eating animal, the eating dogs in Dayton. You know, this is the same thing over.
Yeah.
You know, and they fall for that again. Iran is not doing anything. If they do, they're years away from it.
But how about this? In the comments, one of my viewers says this Iran obtaining a nuclear bomb, he says, it's been talked about for 15 years. But in reality, if you listen to Benjamin Netanyahu, he's been saying Iran is on the cusp of developing a nuclear weapon in a few weeks since the early 90s. So it has been being discussed.
Look, if you're on the cusp and since the early 90s and you haven't did it yet, you know, I'm not pretty much worried about you. Since the 90s?
Yeah, I got videos going back. I got videos of Netanyahu looking very young, by the way, younger than me, back in 94, saying that they're moments away or something like that. And then there's videos of you can see him aging, and they're all dated, 95, 2001, 2012. He's been saying that for a long, long time.
And look, from what I understand, he even went to nearly all the presidents since he's been in office.
Yeah.
And has got us to want to go into Iran with war. Finally, he got an idiot to go ahead and do it for him. So, you know, this is just ridiculous. We're in something that we shouldn't be into. You know, it's deeper than my pay grade, so I don't know how we're going to get out of it. If it was up to me, I'd hey, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Just get out of it.
You would just turn around. I mean, we regardless of how you feel about Iran, we've certainly created a lot of hardcore American haters. You're talking about yelling death to America. Imagine what they're yelling at the killing a couple hundred schoolgirls and taking out the head of the government. So if you just leave now and you don't remove the regime, you don't get rid of the 60% enriched uranium, the chance of us having a Iranian-backed or sponsored terrorist attack probably is significantly higher now than it was before Trump did this.
Look here, you know what? Once again, we're looking with a one-way mirror. They're saying death to America, but you got people like, what's his name, Hanson Conservative or whatever. Let's go to war. Let's put boots on the ground. We're screaming, kill them the same way.
Yeah.
We are doing the same damn thing. You know, they didn't fuck with us. They didn't even have a bomb, but yeah, let's go get them because we think they got a bomb. Get the fuck out of here. The hood, you've got fucked up. You know?
I mean, listen, it certainly, I kind of agree with you because when you got bomb them, and you got to bring up not only the death to America stuff, but you got to go all the way back to the Iran hostage scandal and the bombing of the barracks in Beirut as a justification for what you did. You're bombing them over some shit that happened in the early 80s? I mean, you
Exactly.
like why probably most of the folks that were affiliated with that shit are dead now. Why are you bringing that up as a reason to strike them in 2026? Some 40 odd years later, they bombed our barracks back in the 80s. Like, them motherfuckers are dead now. None of them, all of them would be, deep in senior citizen age or beyond. Like, you bringing that up?
The only thing you did was open up. If they're going to get at us, it's going to start the terrorist thing again. Now, you said the two people in Minnesota were terrorists. They're about to teach you what terrorists really is. Now we have to be careful of that because they are known for that, but otherwise they're not going to do, they can't do nothing with, why would you even want to go over there with all that? They can't do nothing to us. If you fire a missile, you know how many countries and everything they had to go over before that missile hit us?
Well,
you know what, we did have blew it down before it even gets to us.
Yeah, and that's your original argument about most Americans were not worried about getting hit by Iran. Fact is, if Iran is going to do something to America, it's going to be to Americans in the region. Yeah, they're not going to hit the U.S. mainland. They're nowhere near that. But they could cause havoc to our military or tourists and things like that are in neighboring countries, though.
Now, that's the only thing, and I'm afraid I don't have a solution for that. If it is, sometimes we just start shit that didn't have to be started. Yeah. We're following Israel, and, we're getting fucked up behind that.
I don't know if we can just leave. I got to move it on, Letter Chris. I'm trying to get more people in here, but I will just say this. I don't know if we can just leave at this point because President Trump cares about his legacy. The man has a big ego as well. If he just runs with his tail tucked between his legs, not only does that look like a huge loss to America militarily and financially, oh my God, financially it's insane, but it would also boost Iran and, similar to the Ukraine with Russia, make America look like a paper tiger. We couldn't handle Iran.
Well, can't nobody say that because Russia can't handle Ukraine.
Yeah.
What, we gonna go down the same road they're doing now? 3 or 4 years still fighting? Is that what we're gonna do?
You think if we put boots on the ground, it could last that long?
Yeah.
3 years, huh?
Yeah.
That's a lot of death.
Maybe more. And let me tell you this. You brought up a subject, and I'm gonna let you go. Man, I forgot the subject, but I know when you said Americans believe the Lego movies.
Yes.
Instead of.
Yes.
You do know that our president was believing the
yes. Yes, the Russian intelligence on you. Yeah. Trump has believed, probably Netanyahu too, but he believed Russian intelligence. I remember he was being interviewed by Bill O'Reilly in the 2017 Super Bowl interview. And O'Reilly was even saying, why would you take the intelligence? Because he was going against Tulsi Gabbard recently when she said that Iran was not trying to develop a nuclear bomb. And he didn't believe her. So he's went with intelligence from both Russia and Israel over our own NSA people. So yeah, he's done
That's right.
He's done it.
So he did the same thing, okay?
So do you believe the Lego videos?
Do I believe the videos?
Yeah.
Be honest, some of it, yeah. I believe they're going to tell all the truth? No, I don't believe that.
Right.
But I do believe there are things in it that are true.
Fair enough. Yeah, they got one out now that said we love Americans. I don't believe that. They're saying we love Americans, not your government. I don't think you can, because look, you wouldn't be having this problem if Americans didn't vote in the guy that's doing it to you. So it makes no sense for you to hate Trump and love Americans. Americans are what gave you Trump.
Yeah, and you know this because you travel around. When you go over to other countries, in the Caribbean, they're pretty cool. But just say when you're over in Europe and everything, and you talk to them, they'll tell you.
They don't like
we
us.
can't get the Trump. That's right. because you're the one that put Trump in.
Yep.
So you may not be Trump, but you're responsible for Trump.
Well,
and they would tell you that.
And it's not just that, it's been compacted by President Trump getting reelected and just trashing all of the European countries, threatening to take Greenland, calling the Prime Minister of Canada governor. So his words alone, even if you scratch the Iran war, just the way he's been the tariffs. I mean, he tariffed them all, and then he basically told them NATO is a piece of shit, and we don't need you, you need us. I mean, he's been treating them really, really bad. So no, they don't like us in Europe. I'm pretty sure they don't like us by now. But
no, they don't.
Love the cruise. Hey, go ahead, real quick.
One, next time you book a cruise, let me book it for you. And also bring Tanisha up here. I really enjoy her. Bring her up here next, man.
I might have somebody ahead of her, but certainly I'll talk to you about the cruise. Appreciate it.
All
right. Tap the screen. Get the lights on up to 40,000, if you will. Help your boy out with the TikTok cap, hat, mustache goals. Show some love for the program. Conservatives crying about the Veterans Administration, acting like he didn't happily just draw Jasmine Crockett and other Texas Democrats out of the Congress. That doesn't mean Veterans Administration. You mean Virginia. That's a good point. I don't know why I didn't do a live on that, but he's saying that the conservatives are currently crying about Virginia with the whole redistricting thing. And thank you, Benicio del Toro. Benicio, appreciate that. Thank you very much for the hat mustache. Whoa, Blue One Banks with the good galaxy. Appreciate the support. Will makes a good point, or Mr. G makes a good point. Talking about the conservatives are currently crying about the Virginia gerrymandering issue, acting like they didn't just happily draw Jasmine Crockett and other Texas Democrats out of their congressional seats. That is a crazy thing. I saw I think it was I'm either watching Bill O'Reilly or one of the right-wing podcaster YouTube views. And by the way, tap the screen, get us up to 40,000. Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. And I saw somebody in the comments getting mad about what happened in Virginia, saying this is the stuff of civil wars. People's votes are not being counted, and this could lead to civil war. And I think I responded to the individual, but I'll certainly see it here as well. Because I had lives on this. When Greg Abbott, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, was doing this in Texas, I don't think I had one member of MAGA suggest what he was doing was wrong. They were 100% behind it, even though the census had just determined how the district should go 4 years earlier, and they were gerrymandering the votes only 4 years apart, followed by President Trump publicly stating, I need 5 more congressional seats. So it was obvious Trump was telling Texas to determine the race of the midterms before the people even vote. Doesn't matter how you vote. I want 5 seats extra in this state. This ain't up to the people. I need you to gerrymander it in a way that I'm going to automatically win 5 additional seats. MAGA was 100% behind that. But now they want to bitch and cry about Virginia. The hypocrisy is insane behind that. Fact is, what has happened is Trump figured out a way that was going to give him an edge and save the midterms, and it has backfired on him and MAGA, and they're not happy now. They're not happy that what's happening is currently costing them a victory at the game they started. The Democrats are not talking about doing this shit. You wouldn't have had a vote in Virginia or California on this stuff. They weren't talking about doing this. This came from Trump. And everybody was completely okay with it when it was working well in Texas. But now that it's working even better for the Democrats, suddenly now it's wrong to do this. Don't play games if you don't like to win, if you don't like to lose. I mean, this shouldn't have happened. Look, I'm not going to defend the Democrats doing it because I think gerrymandering is wrong no matter what side does it. But you don't get to criticize this when it doesn't work in your favor, when you were favorable to it when it was. If you didn't say shit about Texas, you don't have any right to say a damn thing about Virginia. It's as simple as that. Because this is literally like throwing the first punch And now when you're on the ground getting your ass beat, you're trying to cry foul. It just shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened to begin with. Anyway, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 40,000. We'll take the next caller. Smash that like button on YouTube. Helps out the algorithm. I need you to do it if you're watching on YouTube. If you favor this type of uncensored dialogue from all sides of the hour, we don't block, ban, or censor any damn body. Follow the program if you're watching us currently on Instagram, TikTok, or Substack. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, give your boy a sub. We're here most weekdays. Certainly not that I'm back from vacation. Looking at the comments, apples and oranges, you can't compare the two. They only left them one Republican seat in Virginia. Ludicrous. That ain't so. You're saying because they didn't gerrymander it as bad in Texas as they did in Virginia, you can't compare the two. Gerrymandering is wrong. I don't give a damn if you steal a bag of potato chips or you steal a fucking car. Shoplifting, theft is wrong. You're trying to somehow well, we actually, you know what this sounds like to me? I use the analogy of being on the ground, getting your ass beaten, crying foul. And I'm sure a lot of my male viewers probably can relate to this. You ever had a scenario where you've seen a woman hit a guy and it was okay when she was hitting the guy, but because he's bigger and stronger, now when he hits her back, it's all of a sudden, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. You ever heard of that phrase before? Well, we only gerrymandered and took away 5 seats. You took 10. Why did you take the 5? You're literally trying to justify it's okay to take 5, but it's wrong to take 10. Just ain't getting it, huh? You just ain't getting it. Gerrymandering is wrong. It doesn't go by how much theft you can get away with. It was wrong to take the 5. I can't believe somebody tried to say that. Don't start it if you don't want it to happen. You don't get to this, and this is the same thing I use when it comes to the female strike. You don't get to hit somebody and then dictate how hard they can hit you back. You don't want to get hit, don't throw any punches. You don't want gerrymandering, don't do it. Simple as that. Let me go back to the box. I can't believe somebody actually said that. We didn't take 10 seats, so yours is wrong. I can't believe somebody actually tried to get away with that. Let me go back to the box, though. We'll go to Mike, the boss. We went through the legal process. Democrats didn't. That's not accurate, actually. They didn't go through the legal process. And Texas just did it.
Jesus Christ.
It said they went through the legal process in Texas.
Jesus
And the Democrats who voted on it in California and Virginia, they didn't go through the legal process. Huh?
Jeez. What's going on, Tim? See, people don't read anything. It was on the ballot in California and the people voted on it. It was on the ballot in Virginia and the people voted for it to be voted on.
Yeah.
So they had to vote to do it, and then they had to vote for it. So there was 2 opportunities for both states to say no, and they voted for it.
I think
Texas legislatively did it.
Yeah, Texas did it on their own because they tried to do it. The Republicans tried to do it in Indiana as well, and the Indiana voters stopped them from doing it. They were trying to gerrymander Indiana in favor of the Trump administration too, but the citizens of Indiana voted against it. But Texas didn't put it up for a vote. You're right, they just did it. But what I don't get is why are we arguing? I don't give a damn how you do it. Why are we arguing whether gerrymandering is good or not? Well, you did it the legal way. It's wrong no matter how it's done.
Because these people, first of all, man, happy Friday. Tap the screen, share the live. Get Tim up to 50,000.
Hell yeah.
It's 151 people in here. We should be up to 50,000 easy.
Thank you.
But Tim, it's silly. It's so silly. And can we get back to the indictment real quick?
Southern Poverty Law Center. Give me what you got.
So I heard you talking to Gangster Grandma. I don't know if you guys have read the indictment, but you actually have it sitting on my lap right now. I've read it multiple times.
You carry more receipts than a CVS cash register, I tell you.
Hey, if you're going to talk about it, you better do some research, right? I mean, one would think.
Don't talk about it, be about it. Tell me what you got. Tell me what you got.
It was an indictment for fraud and wire fraud, right?
They got them for wire fraud, bank fraud, and money laundering.
Right. Have they sent out an arrest warrant for anybody?
They didn't name a single name in the indictment.
Listen, because here's how it works. For the 150 people in here, walk with your boy Michael for a second. When you have confidential informants, what you do is you protect them. When you're dealing with far-right extremist groups, historically speaking, they have members that are in law enforcement.
Yeah.
These are facts.
Yeah.
So if you're going to protect an informant, and you have to pay them, you got to pay them to be part of the organization. But here's the part that people don't think about. These organizations, they do background on people as well because they don't want to be infiltrated. So they go out and do their own background. So you have to make sure that your informants are protected by layers of protection, which means there's no direct payment coming from one organization to them because it's too easy to trace. It's too easy to track.
I'll add a couple things too. First of all, remember when Trump was getting caught up in all of that Letitia James shit up in New York, and folks were saying that it might have been Alvin Bragg that was getting them on the mortgage fraud and stuff, and the banks said that not only did Trump pay them back, they paid them back with interest. So many on the right were saying you're charging him with a crime that has no victims. Who are the victims in this? Because you don't hear any of the because this is the Southern Poverty Law Center use donations to pay these people. Are any of the donors complaining about it?
No. And here's the thing. Todd Blanche does what Todd Blanche does. He sat there and he misconstrued the indictment, right? He talked him and Donald Trump have a great way of double speaking. But there were no people named. There was no arrest warrants. If it was that bad, it would be called a RICO case.
Yeah, because it's crazy because the indictment says they're charging them with wire fraud, bank fraud, and money laundering, but they're going after the SPLC. You can't throw an organization in jail. There's nobody name on it. I mean, that's like literally accusing Toys R Us of wire fraud. You can't throw the store in jail. So you didn't name any manager or any like I don't know what this is.
Do you know why?
Because the obvious.
It's a southern. It's if they name an attorney and they understand the law, they're putting themselves in jeopardy for defaming this organization, and they have to be careful.
Wow.
They're going to end up with that as well. You watch what I tell you. But Tim, when I don't know if you guys remember this, when the Hells Angels, when those informants infiltrated the Hells Angels, you remember that? It's a huge thing.
I've seen the story on it. Yeah, I've seen the story on it.
Right. They give informants money.
Yeah.
I
think everybody knows.
Working on a smug case, you got to give them money to buy a product.
Yeah.
Come on, Tim. Yes. Everybody knows this. This isn't. Well, let me back up. Let's be clear. Everybody doesn't know that. That's why on this app, since this indictment broke, the right gets on here. See, the Democrats are and they're supporting racist groups, and it's all bullshit. So let me get this right. The Southern Law Group is paying informants. And by the way, $3 million over 10 years is not a lot of money, considering one informant got $1 million. One person over 8 years got a total of $1 million.
But I would have to ask, what the fuck did that informant do that was worthy of $1 million over 3 years? That's a lot.
Well, no, it's not, Tim. Depending on follow me.
You could take down.
Follow me here. It's only $100,000 a year, but depending on what the informant's role was, depending on what role that they had to uplift, were they working in arms? Were they working?
In other words, they may have been using the money to buy things to portray themselves. Kind of reminds me of the old movie with Lawrence Fishburne called Deep Cover, where he says, "You're a drug dealer.
Yes.
Go buy some clothes. You got to look right." I mean, yeah, it could be something like that. It could be something like that.
They can't live in their house. They can't live where they normally live. They got to move them. You got to listen, people don't understand the sophistication of some of these far right groups. They have attorneys, they have lawyers, they have judges, they have police officers. They can do a background check on you if they need to. And if they can trace you from dealing with the Southern Law
Southern Poverty Law
to your home.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they can easily track you and find out who you are, you're no good to them. They have to have layers in between, and sometimes you got to put them out there. They've got to move away. They've got to establish themselves and then try to get in. It's not just as easy as being an informant, right? Because so a lot of these groups, by the way, some of these people that they're talking about. Matter of fact, you know how Gen X has come on here and says that the Proud Boys aren't racist?
Yes, all the time.
But the Proud Boys are in the indictment of being one of those organizations.
You know something, and that's what I said earlier in the live when
I heard you.
Yeah, when the guy was naming all these different groups, I was like, every one of these groups, probably with the exception of the Klan and the Nazis, because they're so well known, all these other groups are going around telling people the whole time they're not racist. And here you got Cash Patel and the DOJ on television basically admitting, yeah, these groups are fucking racist. So from now on, I get you want to get the Southern Poverty Law Center. I get you have a bullseye on them. But there are going to be future conversations when members of the Trump administration or MAGA or some appointee or some judge has a history with one of these groups, and when the liberals start saying that person is racist, you're not going to be able to deny it anymore because your own administration has now admitted these are racist groups.
Big back, but I told you this is a cagastocracy. They don't think past the first thought in their brain. They don't hold it and go, wait a minute. They just say this shit. And Todd Blanche should know better, but this tells you how far right they are. And
that's probably also why they're hesitant to, okay, you're going to say they're giving money to informants. Who are these people? Because if you find out who were the racist informants that were receiving the money, it probably would take them in directions that they would rather not go.
You're right. And you watch, this thing is going to, by next week, you won't hear them mention a word. Because if you're going to release the indictment, you would have thought that they would be looking to arrest somebody.
Yeah.
Like when Donald Trump had his indictments, they named him. They had all the co-conspirators' names redacted for the public, but they had them all. That's why they all lost their law licenses and got fined and disbarred and all of that shit. Now, with this indictment, you have none of that. And by the way, when you read through their indictments, like the one they had on Kilmar Brega Garcia, the one they had on Letitia James, the one they have on John Bolton, and all of those are as flimsy as shit. They have zero substance on them.
And oddly enough, Jerome Powell, Justice Jeanine Pirro just dropped the charge. It's amazing how many people they charge and it goes nowhere. That's why because Jerome Powell, they just dropped the indictment on him today. And that's why when I went into that MAGA live and they were asking me, well, how do you feel about the Poverty Law Center paying all these people? And the first thing I said is there is a big difference between accusations and convictions. The Trump administration has accused a lot of people of shit and even indicted the folks who were talking, and it went nowhere. They've indicted a lot of people and it went nowhere. So right now it's an accusation and it's an indictment, but let's actually see where it's going to go. And as you and I both were discussing, there's not even so much as an individual being named in any of this shit. So where's it going to really go?
Tim, I believe they're either 0-16 or 0-17 in their indictments. Wow. Did you know that?
I believe it. No, I didn't count all 16 or 17 of them, but I just named you about 5 of them off the dome. Like you guys go after a lot of people and nothing comes out of it.
It does. And then while simultaneously having their core supporters that got him in office, CK started questioning shit. Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson,
Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan.
Tucker Carlson just came out and apologized.
Who? Tucker Carlson. That motherfucker said, "I'm sorry for telling y'all to vote for him." Like, damn, that's bad.
But the chicken shit part was what he said was, if I misled you, it was unintentional.
Yeah, he should have left that out. He should have left that out. Yeah, he should have left that out. Because the 2020 election, you didn't have nothing on that. You did that intentional.
Absolutely. And all of this is intentional. And the sad part is the traction on this, and this is the thing about the right. I've been hearing on this on lives ever since it broke. Then you ask them, did they read it? I think I've had one person say they read it out of the 2 or 3 dozen that I've talked to. And then the interpretation of what they read.
Well, the thing is, most of us either get our news from talking with each other, Or either if you lean right, you get your news from right-wing sources. If you lean left, oftentimes you get your news from left-wing sources. Not a lot of folks watch media from both, because I watch some, I watch a mixture of it. I mean, I watch the Cuomos, I watch the O'Reillys, I watch folks on both sides and see where they meet in the middle. But, and then of course you want to read the documents themselves. But most folks only get news from one side of the aisle or the other. And that's why that side of the aisle, left or right, is only going to give you news that is favorable to your side and critical of the other side.
Yeah, and it's terrible, because if you think about it this way, when you talk to someone on the right about this, they'll say, I don't sit around all day and just watch. It's like, dude, it's a 14-page document. It's a 14-page document. When you go take a shit, just take it, just print it and take it with you and read it. I mean, what are we? It's just, Tim, and the reason I say it that way, because they get up here with their full chest and have an opinion on it and haven't read it. They are soft as caterpillar shit. I'm telling you.
That's pretty fucking soft. Yeah, they were going in on me hard.
Think about it.
They were going on me hard, suggesting that I was defending the fraud and all of this shit at the Southern Poverty Law Center. And my response was simply put, when Trump was indicted with a bunch of shit, remember how you were saying that the DOJ was activist judges? Why are you accepting the word of the DOJ now? When they were going after Trump, you thought the DOJ was all radical and all kinds of shit. But now that the Trump DOJ wants to go after the Southern Poverty Law Center, there's suddenly a prayer book now? Why can't they still be someone you question?
Matter of fact, I used that argument yesterday with the Trump supporter. And the Trump supporter said, because they got a 99% conviction rate. And by the time they draw up an indictment, which I agree with the argument, when they draw up an indictment, they already have all the detail and stuff. And I said, okay, so if that's the case, same thing you just said. First of all, it's not a 99% conviction rate. It's a 92% conviction rate. But if that's the case, as it stands today, that 8% where they don't get convictions, Donald Trump has pretty much fed all of that 8%, because he has put the indictment after indictment forward and got shit for it. But I asked him, I said, if that's the case, what happened with Trump's indictments? Well, I mean, you can indict a ham sandwich immediately.
Yeah.
And
that's what I said. I said if you don't trust the Justice Department when they're going after a friend, you can't change your mind when they're suddenly going after a foe. Either you believe the Justice Department is trustworthy or you don't. And that's what it's looking like. Just like the gerrymandering thing. It was okay when it was happening for Republicans. Now that it's happening against Republicans, it's suddenly wrong and it needs to be stopped.
This is what they do, Tim. This is how they operate. Let me ask you this. Have you talked to Straight Talks? Commerce?
Not in a few. I've been on vacation, so I've done very few lives. So not in at least a week.
Well, I'm asking because right now we are at a indefinite ceasefire.
We're in an indefinite ceasefire. It shouldn't be, and that's one of the topics of the live that I was asking. Why is he saying so many things that are not coming to fruition? Because he's saying we're in an indefinite ceasefire. Yet Hegseth is on TV talking about they're going to start seizing Iranian vessels as far as 2,000 miles away. If we're in a ceasefire and you're still in my shit, we're not in a ceasefire. That makes no sense. You're jumping on the vessels with guns drawn, and Marines are jumping on boats that belong to Iran, but you're saying we had a ceasefire. That don't make sense. That's not a ceasefire. You're fucking with me still.
Of course. So let's further that train of thought. First of all, Straight Talk said this was going to be over a week ago. So they didn't want to bet any damn money. I was counting that. Remember you said in 2 weeks, Tim, I tell you, and the gas is going to be coming down.
Bro, Trump said the same thing.
Let me drink my diet Dr. Pepper
Well, but that's what I'm talking about, Mike. But Mike, that's what I'm talking about getting your
$1 a day.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about getting your news from different sides of the aisle. Straight Talk is MAGA. He gets his news from the right. I understand why he's saying that, because that's what they're saying on the right. Is this is going to be over with really quick? Trump stated that gas prices would go down fairly quickly, and they would even be lower than what they were before the war started. So he's getting that information from the administration. So he's just echoing what he hears. I get why he's doing it, but when the information doesn't come true, then he's left holding the bag and trying to explain why. But that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, I know the source of the bullshit. It's just how much they stand on the bullshit, and how much they profess to it, and how much people like him come up here and go, "You guys have no idea what you're talking about, Tim, just stop. I wish you guys would just read a little bit. You're not that smart." They do all of that shit and read nothing, and read absolutely nothing. That's why they run. That's why they kick you. That's why they run. That's why they don't want to have a cogent conversation. I can't. It just.
But how about this though? Well, how about this? Before moving on from you, Robert Kennedy in the comments says, "I'm getting tired of Tim hoping the USA loses to Iran." Is that what we're doing here, indicating that we would rather have America lose to the Iranians?
No, but that's the only fucking talking point that they have, Tim. This is how un-American that comment is. If you're a true American and you say you have this integrity and all this, then you just call a spade a spade. It doesn't care what part of the side of the aisle it comes from. And right now, he went into this. We should never be there. You know me, I've got a nephew over there, so you know how I feel about it. We should never be there. And to say that we're calling out the truth of this war, they said they had no Navy. They said they had no Air Force. Now they're talking about picking off all the boats they have over there. So I thought they were gone. And when you say that, they're like, "You're un-American because you're rooting for Iran." But I'm gonna say this last thing, and then in the United States of America, and this is for you Trump supporters and whoever just made that comment. Do you know it's been almost a month and a half since those 163 little girls were unalive, and we moved on like it never happened? Can you imagine if a sleeper cell did something like that over here? How outraged we would be.
It would be a never forget situation.
It would be a never forget situation, whether it was intentional or unintentional. We would be coming out of our damn skin. And these people just want to act like we're saying we hope we lose. You know what I hope? I hope our soldiers come home safe. And yes, and I do also believe that the slap on the wrist for America should happen. It should happen.
How? In what way?
This shit.
In what way should we be slapped on? You want us to be sanctioned or something like that? How? In what way?
Yep. I want us to be sanctioned. I want Trump to have to tuck his tail and get all of our soldiers back home and think of another way to use diplomacy. We're about to send, so Witkoff and Jared Kushner are headed back over there again, right? If you can do diplomacy now, you could have done it before. If you can do that now, then you could have done it before.
Yeah.
You see how that works, Tim?
Yeah.
And so all the people saying how we want them to lose, sometimes the bully needs to get punched in the mouth.
Well, let's hope the punch isn't too hard. Mike, I got to move it on, but let's hope it isn't too hard, because it could be you or I receiving that lick.
And that's my concern. But let me tell you this first. I don't know if I sent you my address, but you didn't. I need to send you my address so you can send me my gift from your cruise.
What gift?
This is the bullshit. You know, you brothers go on these boats and you bring nothing back. But this is never mind. I
brought a few Irish slaves. Do you need an indentured servant sent your way?
No, hell no. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's talk offline.
I gotta go, Mike. Appreciate it.
Have a good week.
You too. All right, moving on with the program. There's a guy on YouTube fucking with the cops, a black dude that's dressed up as a slave master with a whip, and he got two white dudes on the ground, and the cops are like, "What the fuck is this?" He's friendly with the police, like, I got these two from an auction. What do you think? You think they're good work? The cop is like, "What the fuck?" But anyway, I see Shanti said I saw that. Yeah, he goes around, playing that he's a slave master to two white dudes. And the white community, there's a couple of those videos where white people have called the cops on him. They're not fond of seeing that reverse shit. Evil B Baboon says, "Hey Tim, welcome back." Oh, I just seen your message. I apologize. I didn't get to ask Mike your question, but you wanted to know, can he initiate that idiot moron choke mouth commerce? I haven't heard from Straight Talking since I got back. This is my first show since getting back. So Straight Talk is out there. I'm sure we'll have to get him on the show when he comes back. Anyway, continuing on, tap the screen, get us on up to 65,000. Am I right about that? Put on my goofy spectacles. Tap the screen, get the likes up if you're watching us on YouTube. Also, smash that like button. It helps out the algorithm. You know what I always ask. In fact, I need you to do it. If you're watching YouTube, tap the like button, smash the like button. Helps out the algorithm. We don't block, ban, or censor, folks. You can be critical of this program. I see a lot of my MAGA viewers, my beloved MAGA. There's nothing wrong with you stating where you think the program is full of shit. We read your comments. We'll debate them. But we certainly don't have a problem with you stating your case. Doesn't matter what your politics are. We believe in free speech on this channel to a fault. Appreciate the hat mustache giant robot. Shout out to you folks. Thank you for supporting the program. A few of you guys with the hat mustache TikTok cap goals. So the program's to love. I appreciate that. Looking in the comments, somebody is tight. I got a couple of you folks. For some reason, I didn't know YouTube does this, but apparently they do. They translate a lot of my videos. So I do have viewers watching in other countries, and we're not very popular in some countries. Certainly when I'm talking about the Iran war, I get a lot of folks in Europe that are like, you fuckers. But anyway, somebody in my comment section right now looks like they're typing in French, and I can't read it. So if you can't type in English, I can't do nothing with what you're saying. But they're typing different comments, so they're not spamming. And it looks like real content, but I can't read French. I can recognize it's in French, but I can't read that. I just need to know, did you really go fishing at some point in time in that beautiful water? No, I did not do any deep sea fishing when I was in took a cruise, Royal Caribbean, over to Nassau in the Bahamas. Very popular spot. I think it's probably the most popular spot that Americans go on cruise ships. I'm probably not I don't want to see Nassau again for at least 5 years. But left Nassau and then we went to Turks and Caicos. That was my first time seeing that place. It was cool. But no, I didn't do any deep sea fishing. I love to fish, got plenty of fish equipment, but I usually only do freshwater fishing. But no, I didn't get a chance to do any deep sea fishing, but something I would love to do in the future. It's interesting you say that, not to go too far off the program, but you get these excursions, you can purchase, different things you do when you go to port. I wonder, do they have one that includes fishing? That would be cool. I mean, just to fish, do some deep sea fishing. I've done that off the coast of New Zealand, really, really deep. Not a big boat. Folks were getting seasick and throwing up. Not a big boat at all. Kind of reminds me of the opening scene in Saving Private Ryan where the guys are puking. Anyway, bro, you and Gangsta Grandma handle business on that MAGA lie today. Thank you, Rod S. Apparently you were watching the live. Some of you folks seen it, and we tried. Letter Cruz says, yes, they do. Really? That's something I would love to do. Maybe the next cruise we will do that. Is that a Mr. T gold chain story? No, it's not. Mr. T had a hell of a lot more on than this. I don't think you must not be Gen X. If you knew Mr. T, this ain't even close. And by the way, Mr. T wore gold. I'm wearing silver. Try to find out about those comments. Don't they have a translator? That's a good question. I don't see. It doesn't give me a way of translating it live. So I would love to find out about those comments. To the individual typing in French, I wish you could do that. Jake says, Tim, love you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. We also love our viewers. Certainly, Jake, thank you for your support of the program. Tap the screen, get us up to 70,000. We'll go ahead and take a caller. If you don't want your program to stop, calling what it says, handsome conservative. Good evening to you. He's on Substack. You were mentioned earlier. Thank you, Blue One Banks. Yes, your party is the party of everybody but America, says handsome conservative. Really? You think the Liberal Party is everybody but Americans, huh? You'd have to explain it. If you don't want your program to be shit, stop calling the same Democrats up. You know, that is, your point is well taken. We try to bring up new guests as often as possible. Handsome conservative, you're always welcome back. People say the same shit about the MAGA viewers I get too. Stop calling them up. Look, I'm going to bring up the folks who support the program. That's the first thing. Second thing is we do have somewhat of a loyal audience. So we do get a lot of the repeat viewers. But we certainly make an effort to bring up folks that are new. So it is, but I appreciate your comment is well taken. And yeah, those comments coming in from that the French comment. I wish I could read that shit. I'll have to see if I can go back after the program. Elsa, they was charming. It looked like one guy was rushing. We had an intruder. Okay, I don't know what that means, but we'll continue on. By the way, I did post a poll on YouTube. Was the Iran war necessary? 20 people have voted in it so far. 75%, exactly split, 75-20. Well, not just changed. Now it's changing again because people are clicking on it. But right now, it went back. Now we got nearly 30 votes. 75% of you say the Iran war was not necessary. Well, now it's 27, but 27% say the war was necessary. I think that's kind of close to the larger polls you see on the likes of CNN and things like that. I think it's probably about 60 some odd percent of Americans do not favor what's going on with the war. And about another 30 some odd percent think the war was necessary and support President Trump's efforts. Now, keep in mind, out of the voting public, MAGA is about 30% of that. About 30% of the voting public is MAGA. So any polls you see favoring Trump that's in that range, they're MAGA voters. Now, listen, Trump does some things that are going to expand beyond 30%, like the Save America Act. There's a lot more than 30% of Americans that favor getting the Save America Act. But when you see controversial things and it's around a 30% area, that's just, for the most part, just his loyal MAGA. That's not independents. That's likely not traditional conservatives like the Mitt Romneys and the now Marjorie Taylor Greene types, Liz Cheney types. They're not in that. That's just MAGA when you see that 30%. I will say the Democrats does call are very knowledgeable. Thank you there, Kevin Wilson. Kevin says that when the Democrats do call in, they're very knowledgeable. Fair enough. Let me go back to the box. Like I said, we'll bring up MAGA if you want to be a caller. Instagram, the Handsome Liberal, TikTok, the Handsome Liberal, and Substack. If you have any of those, we'll bring you up. We don't have a problem bringing up anyone, regardless of what their opinion is. And what do we always say? We're MAGA friendly. We're MAGA friendly. We don't run MAGA away from the program. In fact, you're the preferred guest. So if you're MAGA, we're not going to run you away from the program. But we will bring on Takesha Bowie. Good evening, Takesha.
Sweetie.
Hey,
Mop and Glow.
Mop and Glow. You know,
what your head shining like.
That was my adult name in the bedroom back in the day. They used to like it. Leave it shining. Leave it shining.
Anyway, now, man, please.
You started it, Marsha.
I saw you in that live. I think you did pretty good. You know, they kept talking over you, but I was like, oh, this is where he's a leftist.
Well,
because you sounded like you were on the left.
Well, let me just say it like this. I lean somewhat left to center, but I can criticize a hell of a lot of things the left does. But if you put me in an audience that's all the way far to the right, I'm going to sound real left. Because folks always ask me, I used to watch your show and you've gone too far to the left and I don't like it anymore. My response is no, I haven't went anywhere. You guys have went much further right than Trump 1.0. Trump 2.0 is way far to the right. So now I'm going to sound like a fucking leftist. That show.
Well, tell them if they really want to know where you at, come on your show. They won't say you too far to the left because you mad over here. Listen to you. You know why they dropped that indictment on Jerome Powell?
Explain. Because they didn't have nothing on them.
I watched the hearing for the new Fed chair that they're trying to get in. And one of the Republican senators, and I really can't remember his name, he said, I want to vote for you. He said, I want to vote to confirm you, but I cannot do it while Donald Trump and them have this bogus indictment for Jerome Powell because Jerome Powell did not give Trump what he wanted with those interest rates. He said, I know you're going to do the job right. He said, you're the perfect man for it. But until they drop this, I will not vote to confirm you.
Wow.
Tom Tillis. That was his name, Tom Tillis. And all of a sudden, because they want this man in bad, charges drop.
Wow.
I watched the hearing, and that's what Tillis said.
I mean, listen, a lot of Trump's indictments are hit jobs. I mean, this is what Trump accused the Biden administration of doing to him and members on the right, is that, Biden had a weaponized DOJ, and Trump didn't come along and say, it's about time we get a DOJ that works for the people. He just said, well, I'm going to do the same shit for my side. I mean, what he is doing is completely weaponized.
I just wanted you to know why they dropped it. Because their new man was not going to get confirmed until they did, because Tom Tillis said he was not going to vote for him if Trump didn't drop that.
I wish he had that mindset on a lot of other shit they're doing that are hit jobs like that.
Exactly. Did you hear RFK when he said Trump got a different kind of mouth? He said when something is $100%, and you drop it to 600%.
Yeah, the math. Yes,
decrease. And I said to myself, so now we're doing new math, so that we can pacify Trump because he doesn't understand percentage.
Well, here's the weird thing. When you mentioned Kennedy, okay, he's admitted to sniffing coke off of toilet seats. He was a heroin addict. Hold on. He was a heroin addict. He's eating testicles of roadkill. He has a worm in his brain. This dude was running for president. This dude was trying to be the president. I think he would have been more controversial than Trump. I really think if he had became president, he would have been more controversial than Trump.
I ain't trying to be funny. He was never going to be president, so we didn't even have to worry about that. Did you see Trump sleep yesterday in that wonderful press conference?
Yeah. Hey, look, the man keeps a late schedule. The man keeps a late schedule.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what pissed me off with you. You're all about Sleepy Joe, but now Trump falling asleep everywhere, and now all of a sudden it's because he stay up.
But Trump.
How you know Joe Biden went up? Just because he wasn't tweeting doesn't mean he wasn't up.
But that's the difference. Trump is online tweeting the public at 3 a.m.
But just because Joe Biden wasn't a tweeter didn't mean he wasn't up all night.
But
y'all always want to give the mango maniac any kind of excuse y'all can give him, and it's getting to be sickening. The more excuses y'all give him, the worse he get. Now he back on him like Obama again. We don't want to hear that, Donald Trump. I believe everything in them Lego videos. That's why I get my news from Lego. Lego News. That's my news source, Tim. When they made that video with Trump talking to himself, they sit across the table from them empty chairs because they said Iran ain't coming to no kind of meeting to talk about nothing. I got real tickled. The Lego videos are listen.
The Lego videos belong in his presidential library. To be honest, I know that's not going to happen.
Second to none.
Yeah, them Lego. I mean, they
got it going. Them videos got it going on, and that's how we get our information.
Where are the motherfuckers coming from? You think the nation of Iran really? Where are they coming from?
It's got to be somebody on the inside. It's got to be.
I'm surprised the Trump administration.
They're giving us stuff. Let me tell you something. What they say make more sense than what Trump them saying. Trump them can't even get on the same page. They kicking Trump out the situation room and everything. So he don't know what to say. He come out and say something Pete had said in the situation room. He come out and tell us what they said in the situation room. Trump telling us something that held him down the hall from the situation room because they won't let him in.
Oh my God. I'm surprised they haven't found a way to stop those Lego videos. I know we're in a country with free speech, but I'm surprised they haven't You know, because TikTok can deem shit misinformation. In fact, I posted a couple of them, and they did mark mine and prevent them from making the FYP. I'm surprised they haven't tried to find a way to stop that shit, because it is not looking good for Trump.
I hope they don't, because they so informative. They so wonderful.
They are really very informative.
But let me say this, Tim, for the people that say what is anti-America.
Okay.
Because we, liking them videos and stuff. Anti-America is the people that knew that Putin was an enemy until Trump made him a friend, and now Putin is a friend. That's MAGA. Everybody was against Putin until Trump started liking him. Then MAGA started speaking favorably of Putin. That's anti-America. Anti-America is saying we going to Iran to free their people when our people over here starving and we got stuff going on over here, and you more concerned with trying to make Iran right than America right. That's anti-America. Anti-America is we over here needing stuff, and you want to sit up and tell the people over there, Viktor Orban folks, that you'll get on whatever they need to survive if they choose him, and we over here needing stuff ourselves. That's anti-America.
I don't know if I would totally agree with you that it's anti-American. I would say it's not putting America first. I would agree with that.
That's anti-American. When you can look at your own people starving and you want to make sure other countries don't, that's anti-American. Because that means that you're against your people succeeding, but you're for somebody else's being okay. That is anti-American.
I got it.
You don't have to agree with me.
No, I don't. I think you're stretching it. I think you're stretching it.
Stretching nothing.
Yeah, I think you're stretching it to get Trump. I think.
Damn, if we over here, gas prices up, food prices up, farmers filing bankruptcy, people losing their homes, and we break out and give Argentina all this money, and then we turn around and tell the people over there, well, if you elect Viktor Orban, we'll make sure your economy is great.
Well,
what about ours?
No, I'm not. First of all, let me just say it like this. I'm not on the side that favors what Trump was doing. However, I don't think what he's doing is anti-American. I think it's just not putting America first. I don't favor going and campaigning for Viktor Orban or trying to get the Chilean or the guy down in Brazil, whatever, that was also locked up for trying to stage a coup. Trump was trying to get him out of jail. I don't favor him trying to go around the world and get dictators that are not liked by their own people promoted into office. But I don't see that as not being American. I mean, as being anti-American, though.
I'm gonna say it again. If you got a wife and your wife at home with no food in the fridge, and you go down the street and fill up Miss Mary's fridge, you're anti your wife. You're against her.
Well, then if you want to,
because you're not taking care of her.
Well, if you want to use that analogy.
If you're not for me,
then Biden did the same shit. I'm gonna get a what about this?
What did Biden do?
Americans were hurting under the Biden economy, and he was sending a bunch of shit to the Ukraine. Same shit.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about the Ukraine. Who wrote the bill for Ukraine to receive the money?
Doesn't matter. Biden could have stopped it. He didn't.
I'm asking a question.
It doesn't matter. He could have stopped it. He didn't.
Tim. Who holds the purse strings in Congress? Congress.
Okay.
So who sent the money? It was already allocated in there.
Takesha.
Stop trying to make up shit, Tim. That's what pisses me off with you. It's not the same thing, Tim.
You're trying to bash Trump.
Was there a bill with Congress for Trump to give Argentina money?
No. Did you ever even hear?
Was there a bill?
No, wait, hold on. No, wait a minute. Biden did the same shit. Did you ever hear Biden even one state we shouldn't send stuff to the Ukraine? He himself even went over to the Ukraine. He was 100% behind that shit. So people were starving in America.
We've been sending money to Ukraine, bald head. Ain't nothing new.
I'm using your analogy.
We did not just start sending money under the Biden administration. But guess what Biden was doing?
What?
Getting bipartisan bills done so we can do some things.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm not arguing with that. What I'm arguing with is you're bashing Trump for something that Biden was doing
What
too.
is Trump doing for America?
Making us safer by preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon.
Tim, you and Mike and Travel already talked about stop the foolishness. I need you to come up with a whole new thing because what you talking about ain't hit no 15 cents. That man been saying, you said, listen, since the 90s, they 1 day away from a nuclear weapon. And they could have had about 155 as long as Benjamin.
I'm giving you what, and I see Shanti like bad tip. No, Tim, look, I'm giving you what Tim, the president is saying.
You're fluffing, Tim. You're fluffing. Do you feel any more safe now?
No.
You don't know the next move them folks gonna make. Guess why? Because Trump them don't know the next move they gonna make. Do it look like Iran really trying to make a deal? Them folks is still making money. They still going their ship through the blockade. They still stopping other ships. So Tim, what are we doing?
I don't know, Takesha, and I wish I did. I don't know why Trump just decided to attack them. I don't fucking know.
Because of Benjamin.
It's all about
Benjamin. Listen, Benjamin know he can't fight them folks by himself. He needed us. He knew that he had. Listen, they said that Ben had already told Lindsey how to trick Trump into attacking them. He knew what he was doing. He knew he had a sucker.
Look, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, I'm going to get real close to this one. He wants me to make sure that I keep on doing what I'm doing down here so Biden can look bad and they can keep calling him Genocide Joe so Trump can win. And when he gets in, boom, I got him. That's all Benjamin did.
I don't have a pushback for it because Benjamin Netanyahu.
I know you don't.
Benjamin Netanyahu did tell the same story about Iran coming close to developing a nuclear bomb to the last 4 or 5 presidents. It worked on Trump.
I'm gonna be at your house tonight at 8:00, and he been saying it since the 90s. Ain't no way I'm gonna keep washing myself with my legs on waiting on it.
Oh my
I'm gonna be the guy that up the second night he don't show up to him.
Oh my God!
Stop it.
Well, let me pose it to you like this in the comments. I think it says Bobbily says this was not because of Bibi Netanyahu. He said this had been done. This had to be done for years. Every president knew they had to do something with Iran. They said they would do something about Iran, and then they actually catered to them. Trump, however, had the balls to do it.
Damn. Who was the 45th president?
Trump.
Okay, and now he 47, right?
Mm-hmm.
So isn't he a previous president that should have did something about him his first term and didn't?
He didn't have the.
Y'all stop using that excuse. Why he didn't do that when he was the 45th?
He didn't have the same administration that was going to work with him like now.
Because Benjamin was still baiting the bid. Whatever, Tim. I'm not finna argue with folks that talking about every other president before now. Trump was the 45th president. So he had a chance to do it when he was the 45th, and he did absolutely nothing but tear up that deal that he did not read. Who tears up a deal without another one? That's just like me going to court. I'm gonna give a plea deal. And then I ain't got nothing in the bag of the plea deal if it fail. Stop it. You tore up a deal and you didn't have now to replace it. Just like you want to get rid of old ACA and nothing to replace it. Stop it, y'all.
Well, I'll tell you, I can explain to you. I can explain to you why he didn't have nothing to replace it. Because in President Trump's life as a politician and as a businessman, he's been able to threaten his way to glory. People have backed down. My personal belief is, hang on. My personal belief is President Trump thought, I got the U.S. military behind me. If they don't do what we say, we'll just run right over them. I think he felt that he didn't have to replace it with a deal. Either they're going to bow down or we're going to use the might. Trump operates on might is right. So either they're going to bow down and submit or we'll use the might of the U.S. military.
Tim, he got rid of that deal his first term, Tim.
Right.
Them folks, what happened after that, Tim? Did the Iran bow down? Did they run over here and say we scared? And
he said they did.
Did he say they started enriching themselves?
He said they were begging for a ceasefire.
Tim, if they begging for one, you begging for me, and you can't even get to me. So, Tim, don't believe everything you said. Trump is a big...
Hold on. God damn it, I just came from Turks and Caicos. I can get to anywhere.
Do you know what a pathological liar can't do?
Tell the truth.
So stop thinking Trump tell the truth about anything.
You putting him in the category as pathological?
Yeah.
Damn.
I called him a liar in chief. Ain't nobody lying better than Trump. The war was over in the first week, but he ain't ready to end it. When they asked him about why we still over there,
are you gonna be able to finish this conversation? About losing you?
I gotta go, Tim. I gotta go.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm about to lose her in the middle of the conversation. Anyway, every so-called strong empire has fallen over time. Arrogance and greed. If, and I'm gonna put emphasis on if we do fall, those will probably be our reasons. Arrogance and greed. We are a capitalist nation. Capitalism is all about greed. And in terms of arrogance, yeah, and I don't want to just bash Trump, because we as a country have been arrogant long before Trump came along. We're the freest country on earth. We're the baddest, the mightiest country on earth. Everybody's scared of us. I mean, we've had that arrogance around us long before Trump came along. So the arrogance and greed, yeah, that is us. Will that cause us to fall? Hopefully not. But I don't feel confident. I don't feel as confident about saying it won't as I may have a year or two ago. I really believe that President Trump, at the very least, has damaged a lot of alliances and relationships that may not be able to be repaired to the level they were before he came along. I don't know if he can repair. I think that we've shown the world that our status as an ally is only reliable as who is in the White House. Most of the other presidents before Trump, whether they're on the right or the left, the Reagans, the Clintons, you name it, when it came to dealing with our allies, they kind of followed the same path. They didn't bash the allies. They had a certain agenda at play. President Trump came along and just told all of them that you're just a piece of shit. We don't need any of you. And look, at the end of the day, superpower or not, even if you take smaller countries, much weaker countries, let's take Canada, for instance. There are millions of people in Canada. No, they're not a superpower like the United States, but there are millions of people in Canada. When you call the prime minister out of his name, or you say, Canada, we don't need Canada, they need us, and things like that, that prime minister, he has millions of voters looking up to him. He's the leader of that country. You can't just let Americans punk you out like that on the world stage. And then all of a sudden, if we go to war or something, you come tagging along and help us. You got to respond to that. It's just as simple as that. It would be like if you're out in public somewhere, your young child is with you, and somebody starts fucking with you. Maybe they're bigger and stronger than you, but your little son or daughter is looking at you. Do you just let that happen? Because that's going to change the relationship you have with them. They're going to view you differently after that. So that's the point I'm making, is that these nations that have millions of their own constituents and voters, you can't just let this guy treat you like shit. Otherwise, when it's time for you to run for re-election as prime minister or chancellor or president of your country, you're going to have a hard time convincing your voters that you're the strongest person for the position. Because they're going to, well, you didn't say shit when the American president was talking all kinds of shit about you. You didn't stand up then. How are you going to stand up to one of our adversaries? You let him talk to you like shit. So you kind of force their hands when you're doing that, which is why when Trump needed help from NATO member nations at the starting of the war with Iran, none of them showed up. You think their citizens would have backed him after the way Trump treated their countries? No. So they had to save face because they got people to answer to. So we didn't get that from previous presidents, right or left. We didn't have previous presidents, even if they thought NATO was useless without the United States. They didn't come out and publicly say that. Trump has an issue of saying the quiet part out loud. So you don't have to wonder what type of person he is. He says it out loud to you. Does that always work for him? No. Looking in the comments here, Tim, is Takesha turning into gangster grandma? Is she getting all up in your grill? Wow. Evil. Takesha is passionate in her opinions. She doesn't always agree with me, certainly on the biblical stuff, and even on some criticisms I have of the left and some progressive issues. She don't always agree with me, and that's fine. But yeah, she was swinging hard today. The president of Mexico sent a huge tanker of oil to Japan, free trade. That's pretty amazing. Apparently, nobody wants to trade with us. Nobody wants to trade with us but each other. Yeah, that's going to happen. If you start imposing tariffs on everybody and saying everybody's a piece of shit, you're going to give them incentive to go find other people to buy. I'll tell you this. Before I go to the comments, take up the next caller and tap the screen, get us over the 100,000 hump. Tap the screen, let your fingers, your thumbs not be lazy. I'm a little sleepy, so I'm missing on some words here, but tap the screen, let your thumbs not be lazy, get us over the 100,000 hump. And if you're watching us on YouTube, smash that like button if you will. And thank you, Super Evil. Appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you very much, sir. So the point I'm making is, when Trump came along and indicated all of our allies were not pulling their weight, they weren't paying their proper defense fund with NATO. He wanted them to go up to 5% of their GDP, and they were not trading fairly with us. So he increased all these tariffs on, and these are our allies he did this stuff to. Here's the problem, and I've said this many times. You ever heard of the phrase, you pay the cost to be the boss? We're a superpower. We play the role of the world's police. One of the only nations on earth that has bases on every continent. Probably the only nation on earth. Probably the only nation on earth that has bases on every continent. Right? I think China's trying to do that, but we have bases on every continent, ships sailing every sea. Pay the cost to be the boss. Now, for all of our allies to let us park bases and do all this shit and freely move about their countries in their airspace, well, you know, I'll threat letting the Americans fly surveillance planes and all kinds of shit over our airspace. But you know, we're trading with them, and we do so much better on trade deals with America than they do with us. They defend the nation by having bases here, and they don't mind us putting a little bit less in our budget per GDP than they do. So we'll let them be the boss. They're letting us get away with some shit. We'll let them get away with some shit. President Trump came along. I'm not letting you get away with a damn thing. Well, the response is, well, we're not going to let you get away with a damn thing either. And that's where the problem is that now all of a sudden well, shit, if you're not going to give us any deal, you're going to tariff us just like everybody else, or maybe even more, then I might as well call up China or call up Japan or call up Brazil. I mean, there's no longer any benefit dealing with you. You wanted to make things equal. So they're equal now. And China's offering me less than what you're charging. That's what has happened since Trump came on the scene. Trump's expectation was, I can charge them more and they'll stick with me. No, you're not giving them any incentive anymore to stick with you. So I think that's where we've probably lost relationships that may take a long time to recoup, because you damn right, nations like China and Brazil and some of those nations probably realize a lot of these European countries would rather be working with America, but America has a guy in that's unfavorable to them. So the only way we're going to let you work with us, you got to sign a contract to commit for 10 or 15 years. Because the next guy may come in and apologize for what Trump did and try to get you back with the United States. We'll work with you. We'll give you a little, we'll even sell to you a little bit cheaper. But we need a 10, 20-year commitment. That's likely what's happening. So that if we even if we get a favorable administration that works to get our allies back, some of them are going to probably tell us, I'm sorry, we didn't have a choice. We committed to China for 10, 20 years. You know, I appreciate the apology, but I'm sorry. We've already made a deal. We're getting our soybean from Brazil now. You're not going to fix that with an apology. They're locking in deals in other places. I'm sorry. We started buying our equipment from France, or we buy our weapons now from this country or that country. He's breaking long traditional deals by doing that. We'll see how it comes back on the other end. Anyway, I'll go back to the box, tap the screen, get us up to 100,000 if you will. My son is stationed in Japan. I warned him about being safe since military. He stayed in Japan, not allow Iranians in, so safe over there. Other countries are tougher, but you only listen to biased media. But you're saying that Japan is safer because they don't let anybody in? I don't know where you go, because when you look at what's dangerous in America, who said that, by the way, in the comments? You're saying your son is in Japan and he feels safer because they're not letting Iranians in. That came from Ford Debate Steph. First of all, if you're in America and something happens to you, you're not safe, chances are highly likely that the person fucking you up is not an Iranian. The person that shot you is not an Iranian. You're in far, far greater danger from another American than you are from some. We could completely block all. In fact, can Iranians really even get here now? America's not going to be safer because you're not letting Iranians in. They're not the ones causing all the drama. I think you may be stretching that one a bit. I don't think. I mean, the fact is, we allow everybody to have firearms, no training, got a lot of mental illness, all of that. That has a lot more to do with danger than the Iranians. Super Evil, you got an echo.
I'm good. I am here.
Okay. So we were talking. First of all, this Iran war thing continues on, and I got even a poll going on. 79% says no, the Iran war was not necessary. 21% says yes. Why do you think folks are still saying that war was necessary?
Because they are idiots.
It's got to be more. That's condescending. There's got to be more than that.
No. This war doesn't make any sense. Trump is only making money for himself, and it doesn't really help anybody else but himself.
What about the notion that because of this, we no longer have to worry about Iran being a nuclear nation, putting us at jeopardy? Did I lose you, Super Evil?
No. It all depends on how you look at it, though. So
let me ask it to you this way: would you be okay with Iran becoming a nuclear power?
No, but I would respect and say that I would end this war and try to get out of it, though. But knowing Trump, he is the type of person where it will only benefit him and his family only. And that is the stupid part that MAGA doesn't seem to see, or that they don't quite to understand. This war is only to make them money, only to make the Trump administration money.
So
nobody else cares.
So you think the Trump administration started a war for financial gain?
Yes.
Based on what?
Based on there's an article that his son-in-law or somebody got like $84 billion of the Pentagon.
Are you talking about the drone contract or something like that? Barron Trump has gotten they're getting contracts, but is it possible that they could both be? Is it possible that two things could be happening at once? Whereas they are getting wealthy off of government contracts, but they're also making the nation safer. Could both of those things be happening simultaneously?
I would say depending upon how you look at it, though. Yeah.
Okay, so in other words, even though they're making money, they are doing something good for the nation.
No, they are doing things for themselves. They're not making things good for the nation. As I said, Trump doesn't care nothing about the average day working person. Trump doesn't care if you are fully MAGA and anything else. Trump will betray everybody, though. And now that he's running sick, he is delusional and he's getting kind of over the weather.
What makes you say that President Trump is sick or delusional? That's strong words.
Because either Father Time is catching up to him or he needs to stop doing some stupid shit, though.
He's 80 years old come November. He's not a spring chicken. I get that. But when he talks, the guy comes across as, some would say, far more coherent than President Biden. You think that Biden is more cognitively in line than Trump?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Trump goes off about talking about, cats and dogs, and my best friend is, Hannibal Lecter, Jason Voorhees, I love Freddy Krueger. So what else is new?
Okay, you are definitely playing the worst of Trump, but did you see how Biden performed in that debate with Trump where he was asked a question and responded with something that was completely off topic? I mean,
yeah, but the thing is, though, I think somehow, some way, Biden is still intact with himself. Trump is just completely out there, I
don't know. The man can hold, 2-hour press conferences on his feet. Still has no problem traveling all over the world. I don't know. Compared to Biden, Trump looks much more vibrant than Biden. I'm surprised you would put him in Biden's category like that.
Trump is falling asleep at cabinet meetings. All right.
He runs a long schedule. The man he's a busy man.
He's a busy man. Honestly, what's the name of that old of the toy where you just hit the head and it bombs, like, yeah.
I don't know what that game is.
It's a toy that no, it has the spring like on it and you like hit it and then
maybe somebody else know. I don't know what toy you're talking. Maybe somebody else know. I don't know that one. I was thinking Rock'em Sock'em Robots for a minute there, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there's that too, though. Yeah, because I just wish that there was somebody that could just sock him right in his head, and then his head would just,
oh my God,
pop off.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, Team Cawthorn says James Carville, known for the phrase "It's the economy, stupid" during Bill Clinton's, says that Trump has syphilis. James Carville, I think that you want to talk about somebody saying shit for clicks and likes. James Carville says some wild shit about Trump, like he hits hard.
Off the rails.
Yeah,
he goes off the rails.
Yeah, he hits hard. I mean, his stuff is so hard you can't even put it on TV. Like, man, he says some wild stuff. Yeah, he was the one. He was the one that said,
shit, though. People saying some wild ass shit, though.
Yeah, James Carville goes off the rails. He really hates Trump. My God, the stuff he says. I'm surprised it ain't getting taken off of YouTube. It's so bad. Like, man.
Man.
So, in regards to Iran, so you don't favor what we're doing?
No. Iran is just for benefiting the administration and just mostly Trump himself.
But you admitted you don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. That's what Trump is trying to do, is prevent that. He's doing what you want.
I think the Iranian people are prepared to take it to the point where they will die for just to see us, like, even though, yeah, or like suffer. Like, we are losing this war so bad, it doesn't even make sense, though.
Well, when you say we're losing, I need you to explain, define, how are we losing? I mean, they have the body count, we don't.
Trump cannot come to no agreement, and his administration looks weak. It looks stupid. They basically cannot get things together. And then he's saying that, I will have this over, and then nothing hasn't been said. The Lego videos are still coming out, which are like amazing as like hell.
Do you? I'll ask you the same question I've been asking everybody else. Do you believe what's being featured in those Lego videos, or do you just see it as state propaganda from Iran?
I see that they have hidden secret messages in there that I would say, though, that we really need to see, and people are not paying attention. And it's like what they are really saying, it is really making sense. It's because there is no deal that is being made. And I'm just hoping that he can get indicted. I'm hoping that they will throw the book at his head, knock off his weave.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, the man is going to likely issue himself and many members of his administration a blanket pardon. So you're not going to see them throw the book at Trump's head. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll be fine, but yeah. So do you think Kamala Harris, you think she would have attacked Iran?
Hell no. Hell no.
Because that's my poll question on YouTube, and I see right now 100% of the voters that have voted so far are saying no. All right. Well,
and I would like to also add, I think that she would come off as a better negotiator than anybody, and she wouldn't be jumping to no crazy, war, wacky, type of thought stuff, just like how Trump is. And what people don't understand is that Trump is a warlord. He is a strictly warlord.
This is a guy who ran on no new wars, and now you're calling him a warlord? Where is that coming from?
It's because that's his whole thing now. We are also talking about the guy, who wants to be in love with Laura Loomer. So what else is new?
Would you guys stop that? I have not seen any evidence to suggest Trump is having some kind of affair with Laura Loomer.
Man. No, look it up, man, because he has his arms around that girl's body, and it says everything. You do
realize Trump is almost 80. You think he's still bagging him?
Trump ain't shooting nothing. He's shooting nuts, man. He's shooting peanuts, man. Come on.
I gotta move it on, but I'm telling you, Trump. I don't think Trump and Laura Loomer are doing anything. I think Trump's days of that are probably come to an end. I mean, at 80 years old, how many 80-year-olds are banging chicks? I mean, that's getting up there. You can lose your life doing it at that point.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, I can just see it now. I can just see, it's my, hey, it's my, it's Melania. She is sitting there. Oh, darling, please don't grab them by the pussy. Please don't.
That Eastern European accent has got to go. I got to move it on, Super Evil. Always a pleasure.
Right,
Thank you for coming through. You are crazy, by the way. Tap the screen. Get us up to 110, if you will. Hugh Hefner did it once. Well, Hugh Hefner was a specialist at fucking. That's a little bit different. I mean, you got a bunch of, and some of them girls are probably underage. I mean, you know, him and Flynn, well, Penthouse, but Hugh Hefner was Playboy. I mean, those girls were eager to, you know, be models and all of that shit. You know, anytime you run in any kind of modeling company, you're going to have access to a lot of poo-tang, as they say, poo-nanny, as they say, because the chicks really want to get, you know, they want the job. And you often have that, well, what are you willing to do to get this job? And a lot of them are going to say anything, you know? So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the folks that were in those magazines got banged by him personally, or similar to Epstein. Yeah, we can talk about the juveniles. I'm sure some of them were not of age, but I'm not even going in that direction. I'm saying similar to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, he was probably handing some of them off to his friends. I mean, they would have the parties at the Playboy Mansion. I'm sure he was handing some of those girls off. I mean, those girls knew all of his friends showing up make a hell of a lot more than I do. They can all change our lives. I'm sure he was handing them off. So he probably did bang chicks right up to his last days because they were just flocking to him like crazy. But Trump, not so much. I don't think Trump's still banging people at 80. By the way, thank you for that support, Super Evil. Appreciate that hat and mustache. And thank you folks that are. And also, Rod S., thank you very much. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goals, if you will. We're close. Pretty much close to the hat and mustache. I'm surprised to see it so close. So thank you folks that have been supporting. Only a few from way. So, wow, thank you. Thank you very much. Looking in the comments, best 30 seconds of their lives. Don't want nobody busting 30 seconds. Nobody, you can't, no. I hear women talking about that shit. Two pump chump and 2 minute break. Nobody busts that quick. That's not biologically possible. I don't believe that. No, not that fucking quick. Anyway, let me get on with the show. M-Dub, thank you for the TikTok cap. Appreciate that. 2 minutes and 2 pumps. No fucking way. I'm pro Second Amendment. Nothing wrong with that, James Jones. I am too, but I don't believe in getting ridiculous with it. I'm pro Second Amendment, but I don't believe in getting ridiculous with it. I believe in the Second Amendment for self-defense and for hunting. I don't agree with the Second Amendment for the third reason, and that is to stop tyranny. I don't believe the Second Amendment will give you the power to stop tyranny. And I believe it's that aspect of the Second Amendment that people exploit and start having all kinds of ridiculous firepower that can, you know, that can just lead to all kinds of problems. Appreciate the hat, mustache, Danny Dan. Yeah, one away. Thank you very much. So yeah, I don't believe. Yeah, somebody say guns are not nuclear weapons. Well, you know, listen. The folks that believe the Second Amendment is meant to prevent the government from becoming tyrannical, they believe you should be able to have the same weapons as the government. That's the only way you're going to stop them from becoming tyrannical. You need to be able to fight their firepower with the same stuff. Those folks believe you should be able to have tanks and rocket launchers and grenades and all this other wild shit. That's where you lose me. That's where I start talking about where the left says common sense gun laws, because I don't think folks getting their hands on all this shit with no training or anything I think that lacks common sense. I think right now already in America, we give people shit that requires no training. And to me, that just lacks common sense. Kid turns 18 years of age and you go out and buy him an AR. He's never fired it or anything. You hand him a box with an AR and hey, with a bow on it. You know, what do you want to say? Happy birthday. You give him that shit. And you leave him to his own devices. Never been trained to use it. There's a million things could go wrong. Never been trained to use it or anything. So to me, that lacks common sense. So I'm okay with the Second Amendment, but I do believe you should have training on everything you get. And I believe it should be mandatory training, not optional. Yes, Tim, we should have access to, what does that say? I want to read that. We should have access to RPGs and tanks, sir. Yeah, that's crazy. That actually, there's a real case of something like that happening. I think it was out in California. A man got access to a tank, and the police were trying to, they had to try to disable the thing. He's driving down the highway, just tearing shit up because they didn't have anything to deal with that. Just tearing up shit, destroying all kinds of stuff. Finally, they were able to get on top of the tank when they got caught on a break wall or something and pull up the top hatch and shoot the guy from the top and kill him. But if that hatch had been locked, he would have been able to just run until he ran out of gas. I mean, I just don't believe the actual local police departments are capable of handling you having government arms in your house. Just, you give one person the ability to wreak havoc on society. At that point, it ain't about protection. It ain't about hunting. It's overkill. So I do believe in common sense gun laws. I'm locked and loaded to protect. I wish the DNR would come gather. And yes, I know people that should not have a gun. Well, first of all, true, there are people who should not have firearms. But in regards to suggesting, from my cold dead hands, or I wish they would come and take them or whatever. If they want, I hate to sound like Obama, if you want your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If they want your gun, they can take your gun. The only thing you're going to do is also give them your life in the process by resisting. If they want your gun, they can take your gun. I think, and I say this many times, I think what happened with ICE in Minnesota is about the clearest example that our government, if they want to be tyrants, armed citizens cannot stop it. You think they don't have firearms in Minnesota? ICE was able to go to Minnesota and do whatever the hell they wanted to, whoever the hell they wanted to do it to. And the people were powerless to stop it. And that was just a small contingent of them, a few thousand of them. If they sent enough people to wherever you are, ain't shit you can do. You're going to grab that AK or whatever the hell you got in your house, you and a few guys, and you're going to run out there and take on that shit? Yeah, they're going to just take your guns after taking your life. If they want to be tyrannical, you're not going to stop it. It's as simple as that. I think folks believe that it's the 1700s where you're going to be fighting fire with the same type of fire. No. I mean, you see what Saddam Hussein did, biological weapons, or you see what Hitler, or you seen what they're doing in Iran. That's what a tyrannical government does. They don't stop at just using handguns. Do the shit from the air, use chemicals and poisons, and you can't stop that with what you got in the crib. If they really get tyrannical, you can't stop that shit. You're not going to stop it. You're just going to die trying. In Hugh Hefner's home, the young women that lived there had house rules of what you can and cannot do because Hugh Hefner was in the public eye. Yeah, but when the doors was closed, he wasn't in the public eye anymore. You think when Bill Cosby and all them were going to those parties, the public weren't allowed in there. It's just like when folks went to Epstein Island. You knew this is some shit you don't talk about. You getting special access. If you want to be able to come here again, what is the number one rule in Fight Club? You don't talk about it. So that wasn't what he was telling them in public is one thing. But when he invited his guests, the Sylvester Stallones and the Arnold Schwarzeneggers and all the motherfuckers that came, when they closed the doors, what happened in there didn't get out. It's as simple as that. All of you folks in here are millionaires and celebrities and movie stars. You got shit to lose too. We're going to have some fun and ain't nobody going to know about it. Anybody who tricks or tells what happened in here has something to lose. So ain't nobody going to say shit. Ain't nobody talking about that. Let me go back to the box, to the one and only Doomsday Minute. Good evening, Doomsday.
So you believe that it's because of our government's benevolence that we still have firearms in this country, personal owned firearms. You think it's because the government could take them at any moment, but they just don't because they're great people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me give you some math.
Sure.
Ready for some math?
Sure. Go ahead.
There are 434 million firearms in the United States.
Okay.
434 million firearms. About 111 million people own firearms in the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 4.5 million weapon army.
Okay.
The math ain't mathin' if the army decides they want to take the weapons away from the people, they would have already done it.
Yeah, let me tell you what the math is mathing. Because you're making it sound like it's 400 and some odd million gun owners against the government. That ain't how it works. Just like, hold on, let me finish. Just like when ICE was being tyrannical to the people in Minnesota, there was a bunch of citizens saying, I stand with ICE. If Trump wanted, he could easily have had thousands of MAGA come to Minnesota and help out ICE. So it ain't, hold on, it's not the people. It's not the people. Hold on, I'm not, let me finish the statement. Let me actually finish the statement. It's not going to be the government against the people. A lot of the people are going to be on the side of the government.
Unarmed people.
No, armed people.
Unarmed people.
Armed people.
No one that's armed right now is willing to give up. Why don't they do it? Come take that shit. I have been in the rooms where this has been discussed. They have discussed amongst themselves. People have asked, outraged, why are you taking the gun? And every single one of them lose the color in their face. Do you know what it would look like? You ain't ready for that slaughter. You're not ready. Okay. Why not do it then? Go ahead, try to take people's guns. Go ahead. It ain't going to be as easy as you think.
Well, I don't disagree with you that it wouldn't be easy, just like it's not easy with what went on in Iran. So folks just would rather not do the difficult work and let the status quo be. Trump tried to do the difficult work with Iran, and you see how that's turning out. No, I don't think
it's great. How are we losing? This is what I'm talking about. You guys are operating factless.
I didn't say we're losing. Wait, hold on. I didn't say we're losing in Iran, but I damn sure didn't say it's going great. You think Iran is going great?
Yes. God damn. Hell yes, it's going great. How could it go better? How could it possibly go better?
It could be over with by now. That's how much better it could go. It could be going.
It is over with. Okay, how is it affecting you? Is Iran in the room with you right now? No. How is it affecting you, Tim?
Their fucking gas prices are in the room with me right now.
Oh my God, your gas prices. You know what the prediction? You know what the 90-day prediction is for gas prices?
What?
You and your goddamn gas prices. You are
under Biden, gas prices was so damn important. Under Trump, you and your goddamn gas prices. Funny how the times have changed.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I would always love lower gas prices, but under Biden, we ran from Afghanistan, gave them a bunch of weapons. Under Trump, we are actually removing 3 layers of a dictatorship that does not belong on the planet. So I'll give higher gas prices to someone like Trump.
How much are you willing to go?
Actually making a difference.
How high are you willing to go?
Gas prices?
Yeah.
We don't need to go any higher than where we are right now. I'm in California.
So
we can't. The gas pumps don't go that high, much higher in California. You know that.
I get it, but let me ask you, because I know California's higher than everybody else. But let's say, for instance, the average gas price in America reached $5 a gallon. But we were trying to take. I know it's higher than that in California. I get it, but the average is nowhere near that. It's in the low 4s. If gas went up an average of another $1 a gallon, but Trump was trying to stop Iran from becoming a nuclear power, would it be worth paying an average of $5?
Yes. And here's
what about 6? Let's have an auction. Let's have an auction. 6.
Well, yes. I mean,
7.
What he's doing.
7.
15.
15.
I'll play this game.
Good evening to all around the channel.
Hang on a second. I got something going on in the background. Let me turn this other thing off. Yeah, I got an app going on in the background. I'm turning off. Okay.
What the hell just happened?
Nothing happened. I had something else operating on my phone I had to turn off. So you can go up as high as $15 a gallon?
All right, listen, let me say something. We had a world war where everyone rationed gas. You couldn't even buy it, and it was worth every minute of it. Do you understand? Our grandparents went through a time where you had to you ration food, you ration hosiery, you ration things. Okay, I understand that your pampered ass can't handle 50 cents more a gallon of gas to make your life a little easier. I get that. But sometimes, sweet thing, you have to be able to do that. You have to put up with a little pain for a lot of benefit upside.
Here's the difference, though. Comparing the danger we faced during a world war, as you mentioned, when gas was rationed, to what we are concerned with what Iran is meant. Most Americans are not concerned with Iran hurting them.
I know most Americans are very ignorant to the fact that Iran was about 2,000 meters away from having an intercontinental ballistic missile. In other words, a missile that would go up high enough to get into orbit, into a place where it could hit anywhere it wanted to on the planet.
Where is that information coming from? Because our allies disagree with that.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
That's why. No, they don't. And when they hit Diego Garcia, overshot Diego Garcia, they realized, oh my God, if that had gone up instead of out, we would have been in huge amounts of trouble.
So you believe our allies favor what we're doing in Iran too?
Yes, I do.
I haven't heard that. They won't even help us.
Because you listen to listen, by the way, hold on. Let's hear about what you also haven't heard. So you voted for her, right? You vote for her?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she was paying $6 million to the KKK and to the Aryan Brotherhood, and they stirred up all the racial division in Charlottesville. They were paying people right and left. Did you pay for that too?
Yeah. Here's some of the numbers of what you're talking about. I will just say this. Just like when Trump was indicted.
Who's racist here?
Hold on, let me respond. This is just like when Trump received all those indictments. What I said, and I'm gonna say it again with this stuff. There's a difference between an accusation and a conviction. Right now, they're
already in jail right now.
What?
People have already been indicted. They've already been arrest made.
Trump got indicted. An indictment means you've been charged with it. Hold on. No, wait a minute. An indictment means you've been charged with a crime.
Okay.
If you found not guilty, you didn't commit the crime.
Fair enough. What will you say? What will you say about your vote when they do go to prison? When they do have the financial records to back it up, and those people do go to jail, what will you say then?
They were wrong.
Yeah, I'll wait for that. I'm dying to see that.
Right, well, I guarantee you.
For that.
Remember, you the one that told me gas should be $2 a gallon right now.
Yeah, and I got the timing wrong.
Right, you did.
I expect you to do the same thing, Tim. I mean, I was an example of a man to you. So now you've got to follow my example.
Well, I don't expect
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Okay, while we're on the subject, since you voted for her, did you also vote to spend $55 billion educating kids from other countries, taking away from my children's education? Did you vote for that too?
No, I didn't vote for that.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, don't you think? Don't you think it's pretty messed up that you guys complain about the Department of Education closing, yet you want to spend $55 billion per year, by the way?
I haven't heard that.
Educating, I'm sure you haven't, but guess what? There'll be indictments for that too. There will be indictments for that too.
Let me just say it like this, straight talk. If what you're saying is true, I'll be the first to acknowledge and be on your side that is wrong. But I want to tell you, President Trump says a lot of things that do not culminate into reality, like Obama wiretapped his office.
President Trump hasn't commented on it. That came straight out of your FBI investigation. That came straight out of your DOJ. Okay, listen. I understand you want to brush this under the rug. No. I would too. If my administration, the guy I voted for, did some shit like that, allowed 20 million people into the country and then paid for their kids' education and gave them a bunch of free shit, you're goddamn right I'd be embarrassed. But
do you really think you're getting away from that by voting for Trump? I mean,
yes.
Really?
Are you kidding? We stopped the flow of people pouring into the country. Just that alone, but you're fucking couple months.
But you're ignoring other stuff. Like, for instance, he's getting a ballroom built with a lot of anonymous money. You don't think there's a chance
Not
of
anonymous money. I can name the top 20 top 20 donators or donors to that. It's a public record. You can't do stuff like that without being public record. They are.
Yeah, but what's not public record is what they're getting.
Apple is one of the main donors.
How much did Apple donate to this ballroom?
Well, hold on one second. There's a whole list for you. It's not as anonymous as you think. And by the way, as long as the money didn't come out of your pocket,
bullshit.
Are you telling me you give a damn?
Yes, I give a damn. Because I'll explain to you why. Why the hell would Apple, in many cases, folks who suggest they don't even pay their employees right, why would they just get a president millions of dollars? They just happen to have a few extra million laying around. Why would they just do that?
37 private, largely anonymous donors. That's true. But major firms like Amazon, Google, Meta, Apple, Microsoft, Coinbase, Ripple. I mean, dude, the list goes on and on and on. And here's why they would do it. Because it benefits them to have a White House that these foreign leaders come to and they meet with and they hobnob with in a ballroom that isn't ankle deep in water. That's why.
You believe Apple and some of these companies wanted to have
the name Carnegie? You ever heard the name Carnegie?
Right now I'm hearing the name ridiculous. You're telling me that they wanted to have a Carnegie Hall style ballroom so much that they put in millions of dollars for nothing in return to get that.
You ever heard of a Rockefeller Center?
So this amounts to a multi-million dollar timeshare for these corporations.
It happens all the time.
We
have large donors. Yes. No. How much? Let me ask you a question. When Conrad Hilton died, I was worth $3 billion. When he died, how much was he worth when he died?
I don't know.
Zero. And you know what? He left his family no money. They took up the Hilton hotels. His son, Robert Hilton.
No, that's not true because I know Tory.
It is true.
Hold on. Okay, all right. Okay, if you say it's true, isn't Paris Hilton part of that family?
She made her own money. She made $200 million. She worked $200 million. She made her own money. That family, again, along with many, many other families, will donate their money and put it in a trust, giving their own family relatively little, and fund these charities. The Hilton Foundation feeds starving children around the world. And his son doubled the donation to that when he passed, giving his family zero. And Warren Buffett's done the same thing. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation done the same thing. People are far more charitable than you guys.
Right. Ain't none of them donating to the homeless and that. They donate to rich people. You're going to donate money to the White House and skip all the poor-ass people in D.C. on the way to do that.
All the rich people go to Africa to get their immunizations from Bill Gates. Is that what you're thinking?
No, I'm thinking that most poor Americans are not getting donations from these people. So, no, I don't see it. I don't see what you're talking about.
No, a lot of the time they send their money overseas. The United States government they're paying too much for this stuff to begin with. I agree with that. They should keep those donations local. No question about it.
I'm just going to say where you lose me is the belief that these folks just decided to donate a ton of money to a ballroom so that they could have a timeshare.
Listen, I lost you way before that. Anyone that would vote for the party giving the KKK donations and giving the Aryan Brotherhood $6 million to stir up racial division, and that you guys it isn't racist enough for you in this country.
You know what's crazy?
Go and fabricate and manufacture your own.
Straight talk, you know what's crazy? Before this report came...
You are crazy.
Maybe a little bit. But before this report came out, most of these groups that they're claiming that Southern Poverty Law Center gave money to, these groups were, according to the right, they were not racist groups. It was just the Democrats and the
KKK. You find me a Republican says the KKK ain't racist.
No, I'm not talking about the KKK. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about those.
Or the Diablo motorcycle gang that also received money from the Democrats.
I bet you the Diablo motorcycle gang was claiming that they were not racist. I bet you they were saying that.
They were claiming it. But listen, none of us are dumb enough to believe it.
Well, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are, because you guys don't even think statements like they're eating cats and dogs or a Muslim man. You don't see no hate in any of that shit.
So you think it's an equivalent to say that you eat cats, that me giving $600 an hour to a bunch of hooded assholes
Put in your
stirring
request,
up
Mike.
racial trouble all over the country? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, I believe that if you're making up stuff that is causing folks to not like groups of people like the Somalis are garbage, you're creating racial division. You're creating hatred. To say a whole group of people are garbage. Yeah, I think that's some of the things that Trump does.
Well, I'm gonna listen. You may be the first one. Every KKK member is garbage. Every Aryan Brotherhood. I hope whoever's listening is listening hard. They're garbage. They're garbage people. Don't have to eat a cat. Don't have to eat a dog. You motherfuckers are garbage.
Mike,
I'm not giving you any of my money.
Mike, good evening. You had a galaxy came. Mike, are you there?
He ain't all there. I know that. He might be on the line, but motherfucker is not all there.
You are in rare form today, I tell you. I don't know. Mike,
I missed you. I missed you.
I was on a cruise, by the way. I was out in the middle of the ocean.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, good for you.
I went to Nassau and Turks and Caicos.
I love the Bahamas. Good.
I don't want to see the Bahamas again for a few years. I've been there too much. It's too common. It's gotten too common.
I got you.
So I booked another one to the East Caribbean. Well, Mike, are you there? Okay.
I hope you refund Mike. I would like to talk to him.
I'll try to.
I do my own lives now. You're welcome to come in anytime. We can have a much longer discussion if you'd like. I did 2.5 hours today, and no one has an answer for me on this.
Are you
upset?
Okay, so
are you at least upset that you voted for a party and continue? By the way, from the sounds of it, you will continue to vote for a party that wants to be in bed with the Aryan Brotherhood and the Klan and all of these, does that?
I'm going to repeat. I'm going to repeat what I just told you. There's a difference between accusations and convictions. If they're convicted, I will agree with you that that's terrible. But right now, they're just being accused of this stuff.
Wait, is it terrible? Okay, is it terrible, or would it make you question who the fuck you're voting for?
I don't. Is the Southern poverty? Wait. Hold on.
I want to hear. Listen to me.
Hold on. What is the? Okay, if I vote for Kamala Harris, is she responsible for everything the Southern Poverty Law Center does?
Listen, man. Okay, and I mean this very sincerely. Very sincerely.
Sure.
If I find out that Donald John Trump in any way supported a white supremacy group by giving them money.
Oh my God. Really?
You can bet your ass that will be the last time I vote for the president of the United States. Him. 100%. And anyone involved in it.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Maybe I didn't hear you before. Straight talk. Did you read the indictment?
Did I what?
Mike got some issues.
Straight talk.
You got some audio issues.
He got some issues. He's had some issues for a long time. I think he asked me if I read the indictment. I did not. I had the indictment read to me, but go ahead. I did not. Yeah, he's definitely got some issues.
Yeah, Mike, I'm about to drop you. You got some kind of.
Save that for another day, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Nice try.
Yeah, you got some kind of delay, Mike, when your signal gets better. Looking in the comments, when someone starts with "I'm being sincere," they're not.
You're not being sincere. I read that too. B, I am being sincere. I mean it sincerely.
Let me ask you something. Now, I know you don't favor. Let me ask you this. I know you don't favor Kamala, but do you think we would be at war with Iran if Kamala Harris was in office?
I will give her the benefit of the doubt and say yes. I will give her the benefit of the doubt and say yes, because I do believe that Iran was not, they were doing what they were doing, and I want to believe that she would step up and do what needed to be done.
So I guess my follow-up would be, with so many folks, particularly Benjamin Netanyahu being one of them, constantly saying over the years that Iran was about to get a nuclear bomb. Why do you feel so confident that this time it was for real?
Well, we know that it was for real because we bombed Fordow. We bombed all of these different places where they were enriching that uranium. We know what level that uranium was.
So all the other times in the past, you're admitting all the other times in the past were lies then?
No, I don't admit that they were lies. I think that they were at different levels. I think that they were closer and closer and closer.
Over 30 years?
For what?
Netanyahu's been saying this for 30 years.
Yeah, that they were in the process of trying to get a nuclear bomb. Yes, we've been telling you.
Really?
We've been trying to tell you that Iran wants a nuclear weapon. You have not been listening. And now when they're about to get one, you still don't want to listen, and you still want to give them excuses, and you still want to obfuscate.
Well, my issue is this. You ever heard of the phrase in the two-way community? We were talking about two-way earlier. You ever heard of the phrase an armed society is a polite society?
Yes.
Why don't and for you folks that may have never heard that, and by the way, for my YouTube viewers, I really need you guys to smash that like button. It helps out the algorithm. Certainly tap the screen if you're watching on TikTok as well, but certainly on YouTube, smash that like button. Here's one of the things I want to say about that. An armed society is a polite society. For my two-way folks or who don't know what that means, it means that if everybody has a gun, people will know you can't just rob or fuck with anybody, and it'll make folks more inherently polite. The question I'm wondering is, why is that same mindset not translating globally? An armed planet is a polite planet.
Okay, listen, I have an answer for you.
Sure.
So if you live across the street from me, and I know you have guns, and you know I have guns, but I also know that you can handle them. We go shooting together. We are friendly toward one another. I pick up your newspapers when you're off in Bahamas, and we're friendly. Then I'm cool with you having weapons.
What if I don't? What if you don't know if I can handle it? You know I got a bunch of guns, but you never see me at the range.
If you hadn't stopped me, I was going to tell you about my next door neighbor who is a fucking cuckoo bird who I see all the time every holiday out shooting them up in the air and doing all kinds of crazy shit with them. Well, he doesn't need to have weapons around me. So I'm going to take steps and make sure that he doesn't. I'm going to disarm this individual long before he can do something irresponsible for those. And I would hope that the rest of the neighborhood would assist me in that effort.
So you put the crazy neighbor, that's the Iran version.
If you want to go next to North Korea and disarm little Kim, I'm with you. I think we can expand this to any country that displays a level of irresponsibility.
And you don't think America threatening to take Greenland is not acting irresponsible?
You don't even know what's going on in Greenland right
now. I know it's their fucking country. You can't just take somebody's country.
Yeah. And by the way, listen, they're welcome to come and try and take the United States' nuclear weapons if they want. You didn't to them pointy side.
You didn't answer the question though. You don't think threatening to take another sovereign nation is not acting irresponsible?
No, I don't think that it was a threat. I think that he was speaking hyperbolically. I think that he was trying to put himself in a good negotiating position. You like to take everything literally unless it doesn't suit your purpose. And that's the great thing about being a liberal Democrat. You can say whatever the fuck comes out of your mouth, and then you'll massage it any old way that you want. But guess what? We started doing that ourselves.
That sounds like what Trump does.
I said that we're doing that ourselves now.
So you believe that Trump is speaking in hyperbole or something? He's talking about taking Greenland, but death to America. Now that got to be taken at face value. Maybe they're speaking in hyperbole.
You see the president rolling tanks on Greenland? Do you see the Iranians capturing and molesting other countries around them? One happens, the other one is. The other one is not happening.
So what's the difference, considering we are in the Middle East fucking with countries constantly? What's the difference between death to America and your whole civilization is going to die? What's the difference?
I'm sorry, I got a call. So say that one more time.
Now, because we are in the Middle East constantly fucking with people. Certainly over the last couple of decades, Iraq, Afghanistan.
What do you mean exactly by fucking with people? Because we signed the Abraham Accords. We are bringing peace to the Middle East. Do you mean that's fucking with people? Or do you think us constantly, are we bombing someone I'm not sure about?
Yemen, we bombed Syria.
Yeah, okay. So terrorists, we are killing terrorism wherever we find it. Okay, and now I know what
you're bombing people at home and calling them terrorists for trying to defend their. Here's what I'm asking. Okay. What is the difference between death to America and your whole civilization is going to die tonight?
Yeah, we were at war again. Did they die? No, they did not.
Has America experienced? Did they kill America?
Could we end their entire civilization, Tim? Do you think we could do it if we wanted to?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know about the whole civilization. I don't know about that.
Come on, man. We could glass that place. There is no question about it. We could. I think you would agree we've got enough weapons that we could glass the country of Iran. I mean, are we pretending here? Or, I mean, we do have the capability of doing that. Now, we did not, but he was trying to put them in the mindset of remember who you are talking to. This is our benevolence. We are telling you right now, if you don't knock it off, if you do not stop, we have the capability to end your civilization.
And chances are, if we'd done something like that, other nations would sympathize with the plight of that country, and it would start a world war against us. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is that better? Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna drop. I will.
No.
Yes, Mike. Sorry, you wasted your time with me. I'm sorry. It's 27 minutes now. Come over and talk to me if you want to talk to me.
Don't run. You run all the time. This is the only place you typically don't run. But I was asking you, did you read the indictment or somebody read it to you? Oh, did he leave?
You left.
This is what he does. He always runs. Now, I told you earlier when I was up here that he was going to do this. I told you exactly what he did is what I said earlier, right? He did exactly what I said he was going to do. You're a runner. You're a chicken. Somebody read it to you. But if you knew how indictments worked, you would understand how the indictment worked. They didn't name one person.
No, they didn't.
They didn't name one person in the fraud. They didn't name anybody. All they did was say, all they're doing is saying the people that donated to a 501(c) didn't know where their money was directly going per se, but that's not a law requirement anyway.
No.
That's the funny thing. You know that, right, Tim?
Yeah. Not only am I not seeing a crime, but like I said, if you're not going to name any names, what do you expect it to go?
This is going to end up right where Jerome Powell's indictment was. You watch what I tell you. This isn't going nowhere. And I know you're still in here. Quit being such a coward. You're one of the biggest grifters, liars. You never bring facts. And when people challenge you on those facts, you run. You do it on Sticks Live when you're up over there, you run. You do it when you come here. You and Duke. You guys spew this bullshit. And if people are listening to you, they're getting not even bad information. They're getting flat out lies or just your opinions.
Yeah, one of my viewers said he wants to be heard but not listening. He's a coward. So somebody is.
He does it every single time, and all we want to do is pull up facts and receipts. That's why I asked him, did he read the indictment? Well, somebody read it to me. Well, somebody read Dr. Seuss to me one day too. Doesn't really mean shit. At the end of the day, be a grown man. If you want to come on these platforms and be a political commentator, have your facts in order. And the facts are this. And I know you're still listening. The facts are this. An indictment is an indictment. The same process that used to indict Trump, what you guys thought was bogus, is the same process running now. But the difference between those indictments and Trump's indictments, through the Obama and Biden administration, in any previous administration, those indictments were 92% success rate. Donald Trump is like 0 for 17.
Trump indicts a lot of people that don't culminate into any type of conviction. He has indicted a lot of people. I mean, because I think a lot of it is just to shake, to rattle the cage, so to speak, to scare the person. But a lot of his indictments go nowhere. Comey, Letitia James, I think, was one of them. Now you mentioned Powell was another one. I mean, these things go nowhere, and they go away fast. Like the minute you go to court, the judge is like, "This is bullshit."
The judge be ready to sanction the attorney that even brought it in front of him. Like, you really brought this bullshit to me? So I mean, this happens all the time.
Aren't they going after? Aren't they, now that she's no longer in the Department of Justice? Aren't they already going after? Yeah, they're going after her law license already, aren't they?
Yes, yes. So she's gonna be sitting down somewhere, dude, during on the side of buses and stuff. You know. I mean, but again, I'm gonna say this because I paid my Galaxy to talk to his running ass. He ran. Oh, my time's up. Yeah, you was hoping I had bad signal, but I'll catch your ass on another live, and I'm gonna pull up receipts because I always have receipts. Huh?
Yeah. Well, what can I say? All right, I'll let you roll it out.
No. I'm gonna let you do your thing, man. I got some stuff I got to take care of. I literally came up to check him on all of his lies and all of these things. And I'm gonna say this last thing. It's not even for him. There's 192 people in here. I want you to ask yourself, if an agency that's supposed to be fighting racism, to what they say, that organization is giving funds to these racist organizations just to turn around and sue and bankrupt them. How much sense does that make, Tim?
Well stated.
How much sense does that make?
Zero.
Exactly. That's my whole point. It makes zero sense. And they run with this bullshit and they don't even pause for a second and be like, yeah, what difference does that make? I'm going to give them money to build a case against them and then sue them.
It didn't have to make sense. It came from Trump. Mike, appreciate it.
Later.
Later. Moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Get us on up to 121,000, if you will. Real quick, I had the poll going on YouTube. Would Kamala Harris have attacked Iran? It's been over 120 some odd of you voted, so there's a decent amount of participation there. 14%. 14% of you say Kamala Harris would have attacked Iran. 86% of you say no. I think that's pretty clear. 86-14. Wow. The man has 6 bankruptcies for a reason. I think a lot of businessmen have, certainly with somebody as many businesses as Trump, I think a lot of them have bankruptcies. I don't know how many does Mark Cuban have any? I'd have to look into that before I misspeak. White Knight. Love that name. White Knight. Good evening. Welcome to the program.
No whammies, man. I don't want no whammies.
You would choose a name like White Knight, huh? Oh, my God.
Hey, what can I say? I love chess. It's a great game.
Yeah. Aren't they the White Knights of the something?
No, it's chess, man.
Yeah,
well,
sure it is.
White and black pieces.
Have you received any? Have you received any?
I don't have a racist bone in my body.
Have you received any money? Have you received any money from the Southern Poverty Law Center recently?
No, I'm waiting on my check. I mean, what money?
I don't know.
No.
White Knight.
Listen,
I
just came up here to see what was going on, man. I heard straight talk in here, and I was like, shit, I got to see what's going on.
Well, what is going on is, first of all, they are claiming that the Southern. Have you heard about this Southern Poverty Law Center scandal? Probably not.
I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. We're also talking about the Iran war. I want to read a couple.
The Iran war, yeah. I can answer. Go ahead.
Okay, before you do, I want to read this is paraphrasing. These are not exact quotes, but they're pretty fucking close. We won in the first few hours. I think Trump said with the war in Iraq. He said we frankly we won. We won in the first few hours. Said that the Iranians were begging for a ceasefire, and they released a statement saying we're begging for no such thing. He said the war, originally he had said the war was going to last between 2 and 4 weeks. We're now on week 8. He indicated that the Strait of Hormuz was open, even suggested that boats should go ahead and try to pass through. A couple of them did, and Iran opened fire. I think they destroyed a vessel or two, and they also ended up capturing one. He talked about how the Iranian Navy is decimated at the bottom of the ocean, yet they're seizing boats and firing up on them. And he also indicated we could fly over their country and do whatever we want, and there's nothing they could do about it. Only a few days before they shot down a couple American aircraft. What I want to ask is, why is he getting so many things wrong?
Why is he getting so many things wrong?
Yeah,
I don't think he is. I mean, we have destroyed their pretty much their armed services.
The war will be over in 2 to 4 weeks.
I do know that they have. I do know, or excuse me, let me apologize. I have heard that they have like little mini subs for the strait and shit like that they use.
Okay.
But mostly we've taken out their Air Force and their ships and shit like that.
But he said, wait, hold on.
That's fact.
He said we could fly over their country and there's nothing they could do about it. And then a couple of days later, they shot down a couple jets. That's not wrong. You said you could fly over and there's nothing they could do about it. Then a couple of days later, you got pilots that are down behind enemy lines. That's not wrong.
Well, Tim, now hold on a second. When he said that, it was probably true. But the problem is, and we've had this conversation before. You keep forgetting.
I really forgot.
Rearmed. They're getting rearmed by Russia, China, by North Korea. So when he said that, it was probably true. But it's well known that Russia, China, and North Korea are sending more weapons.
Okay, he said we won in the first few hours. Is that true?
Are you talking about the first attack where we did the bunker buster bombs and shit like that?
No, I'm talking about not the war we had in not us attacking them in June. I'm talking about this one here in March or late February. He said in the first few hours we had won. Was that true?
Well, it depends how you see it. I mean, I see taking out their military capabilities before they got the help. I see that as true. But now they are getting rearmed. So, yeah, we're still in it to win it.
So we won, but now we're fighting again.
We're fighting because they are getting more military aid from the BRICS nations. And as they're getting the missiles and as they're getting these things, we have to go in and take them out. Yeah, they did take down a plane. Maybe it was 2 planes. I don't remember. But they did take them down with missiles that they got from China and Russia and North Korea.
But wasn't that anticipated that if we attack Iran, some of their allies might help them? We just thought the war was going to just let us do whatever we wanted and nobody was going to help them?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when he made that statement was true before they got rearmed by the BRICS nations.
But if you know they're going to be rearmed, why are you claiming victory? You know the fight is not over with. You know reinforcements are coming. So why are you saying you won?
Well, we did. We took out what they had. We won in the sense of we took out the things that they had. When they got rearmed, we had to go back and rearm ourselves. That's what this whole ceasefire was. It was just an opportunity to rearm our ships, to get more troops over there, because this war is going to be prolonged as long as the other countries of the BRICS nations are helping Iran.
Okay, first of all, you can't win a war that you're fighting 2 days later. You didn't win. If you win, it is over with. There's a ceasefire. There's a surrender of some sort. You don't win a war that you're still fighting 2 days later. You ain't won. I don't get where the word win is coming in that. It'd be different if we fought them and said we won and then six years later.
Maybe he should have clarified and said, we defeated the armies and the weapons that they had at the time.
Okay.
Maybe he should have said it that way.
How about this?
But yeah, we took out their shit and now they got more shit. And now we got to take out more shit. The truth of the matter is, Straight Talk was right. If we really, really wanted to put an end to this war, we could do it lickety split.
Right.
It could be over, but there's too many people that don't.
Well, first of all, you're gonna indicate that you're concerned with Iran trying to get a weapon of mass destruction and do something awful by using a weapon of mass destruction on Iran and doing something awful. So, in other words, I'm scared that you might do this, so I'm gonna do it to you. I mean, that's what it would look horrible if America did that.
It may look horrible, but it'll put a stop to them getting a nuclear weapon. There's nothing more. I can never understand why Democrats of all people, some Democrats, I apologize, not all Democrats, but some Democrats want these people to have nuclear weapons, and they think it's a good idea. It makes no sense. These people want to kill you. They would have no problem coming into your house and fucking put a gun to your head. They have no problem setting a bomb off in our country. They've been screaming for 40 years. They want death to America.
I'm hearing all of this. I'm hearing all of this awful stuff that Iran is capable of. Yet I'm watching our missiles destroy elementary school full of girls and us not even apologize. I'm hearing us say we're going to wipe their civilization off the map. We're going to kill their fresh water supply and take out the lights and I mean, all of the tyrant shit is coming out of our mouths. We're saying they're going to do it. We are saying they're going to do it, but we are actually doing it.
Okay, first of all, let's do this with the school, because this keeps coming up. I know nobody agrees with me. Okay, that's fine. But as far as I'm concerned, I think Israel took out the school. I said it before, I'll say it again. Not America. I think Israel took out the school. Okay. Second of all, as far as the I apologize, man. I got lost on the school. What was the second thing? You brought something else up.
I'm saying that we're claiming that Iran is going to be a tyrant when we're the ones that are actually doing awful shit to them.
You're saying Iran's going to be a tyrant?
No. We're saying We're saying that Iran would be irresponsible. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. They're being yelling death to America. Meanwhile, we're blowing up schools. We're threatening to blow up their water supply, their power supply. We're actually doing the shit we're saying they might do one day.
Well, that's because we're at war. We're at war with them right now. That shit's going to happen when you're at war. If we weren't at war, you'd have a point. If we were just striking them, but we weren't at war, you'd have a point. But we're at war. We should take out the power supply. We should take out the water infrastructure. Keep them busy. Come in with the troops. Get the job done.
So you believe we should actually starve their citizens of fresh water?
They're not going to starve of fresh water. If they can get weapons and resupplies, they can get food and water. It's just a matter of what's being took on that ship. You want to put this war to an end without nuclear weapons. Something's got to give. So we can't just turn tail and run.
So America that was not prepared, was not even aware they would receive aid from other countries, was not aware they were going to shut down the strait and put mines in it. But suddenly we know if we take their water away, they're going to get that. We suddenly know what they're going to do that way, huh?
We know that they're getting weapons. We've proven that they're getting weapons. But what's the difference between the ships and the planes coming from Russia with weapons instead of water and food? What's the difference?
You actually would support Trump taking out their water supply, yes or no?
I would support taking out infrastructure, yes. This is war. That's what war is. It's not pretty, it's not fair, it's bloody, it's nasty, but we got to stop them from getting nukes. These people have been screaming death to America, and just so you know, that means death to Democrats as well for 40 fucking years.
I don't see any difference of what you're accusing them of yelling and what you're talking about doing to them. You're talking about using mass destruction on them as well. I don't see any difference. The only difference I see is they're chanting it. We're actually doing it to them.
We don't have to use nuclear weapons. We could. All I'm saying is if we're going to end the war, there's two ways to do it. One is nuclear weapons. Two, we can just take out their infrastructure, have them all confused and shit. While they're building that shit back up, we go in with our troops and we take care of business.
So you also favor putting, and I see in the comments, Denkow says Trump said Xi Jinping promised him that that he was not going to help Iran. Did Trump say that China was not going to help Iran?
Yes, Trump said, China said that they were not going to help Iran, but guess what? China helped Iran. China sent weapons, and if China can send weapons, China can send food and water.
But here's the point. Here's the first point I want to make is, when Trump said that Xi Jinping promised that China was not going to help Iran, did Xi Jinping actually make that promise, or was Trump just trying to say that to get Xi Jinping to think, see, he don't want me to help? I mean, that guy may have never told him that. So I don't know if that guy actually told Trump that. Trump says a lot of things. Remember, he said he was negotiating with the Iranians, and they're posting Lego videos like, this dude is talking to himself. We ain't negotiating with him. So it's possible Xi Jinping never said that to Trump to begin with, and Trump just threw that shit out there. And then God says civilization infrastructure against Geneva Convention. What about that? It being a war crime.
It's also possible that he did say it. It's very possible that he did say that to Trump. And the point still is he's sending weapons over there. If you can get weapons past the blockade, okay, from our blockade and their blockade, if you can get weapons past there, you can get food and water. We're at war. It's going to have to end. So we're going to have to do some uncomfortable shit. Until the government of Iran bows down to the request of America, it's okay to kill the Iranian citizens, the ones that we claim we were there to liberate. You're going to start killing them. Hey, I'm for taking out the infrastructure. Me and you have had that conversation already. You said you saw no difference between taking out the infrastructure and shooting people. I see a big difference. I think infrastructure is a proper target, and the Iranian people just like going to work and back or not. So you don't believe take out the infrastructure. So you don't believe they're not going to die of starvation. So if you cut off their fresh water supply, you don't think it'll harm nobody? I don't think they're going to die of starvation. If they can get weapons, they can get food and water. You do realize it's a matter of taking the weapons off the planes and putting humanitarian supplies on. That's the difference. You making us look like fucking monsters. Denkel says we remove sanctions on Russia while this turd is said they are supplying weapons to those we are fighting. How do you respond to that? We actually remove sanctions on Russia while they're actively fighting the Ukrainians, but now you're talking about supplying weapons. I mean, how do you respond to that? Well, we're not supplying weapons to Russia, so I don't understand that. But we're not supplying weapons to Iran either. Russia is supplying weapons to Iran. Right. And we remove Russia is supplying weapons to the country we're fighting, and yet we remove sanctions on Russia. How does that make sense? Well, this is just an opinion. It doesn't mean much, but my opinion would be if they're sending weapons to Iran along with China and North Korea, and they're fighting a war in Ukraine, it could make sense that we're trying to wear them down and get all of their weapons used up. You're giving, that could make sense. You're making them millions by removing those sanctions. You think that's going to wear them down by allowing them to access a fortune? I'm saying getting the weapons that they have, used up, and in continuing to supply Ukraine, then yeah, I mean,
with the money they're making with the reduction in sanctions, they're not going to use up the weapons conservative. They can buy all kinds of shit because you're allowing them to sell oil and stuff now. Russia's probably stockpiling all kinds of shit now with those removed sanctions.
Well, the truth of the matter is, if Russia wanted to win the war, just like if we wanted to win the war I almost said Ukraine, and Iran, they could just use a nuke.
Yeah,
I mean,
but none of that explains.
We're not going to.
Yeah,
but truthfully, they could just use a nuke.
None of that explains away why a country that's giving our enemy weapons would have their sanctions removed by our country. None of the stuff you said explains why it makes sense to remove sanctions on Russia.
All right, let me ask you, would you like us to go to war with Russia?
No, keep the sanctions in place.
All right, you want to keep sanctions?
I think if you had kept the sanctions,
they do have sanctions in place from the EU.
I'm not hearing any legitimate reason for why they were lifted. I think you wouldn't be in war with Iran if they hadn't took the sanctions off of them with them canceling the Obama deal. If that deal was still on with Iran, I think that we would still be at peace in the Middle East. I think that this stuff doesn't make any sense. Releasing the sanctions on Russia, what did America gain out of that? That makes no sense.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Russia. I've been watching the news on Iran, but to me, it would seem like, from what little I know, and it's not much about what's going on with Russia, if they're using up all their weapons, then they're going to have.
Why do you keep saying that when we've removed the sanctions, so now they can export oil to everybody? Why do you think they're going to use up all their weapons when they're making a fortune where they can easily buy more of them now?
Like I said, I haven't done my research on Russia. I'm not qualified to answer that, Tim. I don't honestly know.
Okay, they're not going to run out of weapons.
I would be glad to go back and research it and talk to you another day on that. But to be fair, I don't have my research done on Russia, and I'll admit that up front. But as far as Iran goes, which is what we were talking about, I think it's going to have to end sooner or later. I just wish we'd get in there and get it done. Let's just get it done and get it over with.
So when you say get it done, you want boots on the ground. What are they there to do? Occupy the nation?
No, I don't see a way around having boots on the ground. Remember, I told you before, Trump took all those paratroopers, all those troops. I just watched a video today of a guy that was ex-CIA, and he was talking about how many troops we actually have over in that area, and it's a shit ton. So there's going to be an invasion. I just don't, whether I want it or not, I just want to get the war over with. If you're not going to use a nuke, and then you're going to use ground troops, they're not going to come home with a black eye after all of this.
Well, before I let you go, before I let you go, let me say this. Is one of the things we were talking about. Why does Trump say so many things that are not true? He was talking about Iran once again today wanted to make a deal. While you're talking, News Nation has a ticker on it that says Iran says that they will not meet. So Trump is telling us that they want to make a deal again today, and Iran is like, we ain't trying to meet with. Says we'll only meet with Pakistani officials.
Well, I can tell you what I heard today about that. Okay, first of all, I didn't hear Trump say that they want to make a deal again today. Okay. But what I can confirm is that I did hear that they refused to continue with negotiations until the strait was open. I heard that today. That's what I heard today. But I'm giving that to you. That I did hear that today.
All right.
So I'm not trying to be unfair.
No,
support your local liberal. Also, one day, no gangster grandma, no galaxy. But that's because we weren't talking about trans people. Okay.
All right, conservative. Good talk. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, I was about to say something. But yeah, in regards to Iran war, he has a difference of opinion on it, and so does Straight Talk. But my statement is Trump has said a lot of things about this that is not culminated into reality or just came across as outright false. But we're going to take a caller from Instagram. Dincal, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, so you heard me in Straight Talk and Handsome Conservative. Did they get anything wrong?
I would say everything after Welcome to the Show was pretty much where they started out.
Nothing right, huh? Nothing right.
He literally got on your show and said China and Russia are giving them weapons, and then turns around and say, well, I haven't really done my research on Russia.
I just have to ask the question. So do you think this war was necessary, like both him and Straight Talk believe?
No, I do not. I keep hearing these people, they keep using these buzzwords and these lines that they heard Trump and his people say about, they've been saying death to America. You need to go further back and ask them, why are they saying death to America?
Ooh, that is,
you can't say what somebody is saying and just disregard the whole context of why they're saying it.
That's a good. I think I may have asked somebody that before, but that should be the question. That actually should be the rebuttal from now on. Why? Yeah, because people don't just, even if you dialed the police and told them somebody's on my porch threatening to kill me, they would eventually ask you, why are they doing that? Why are they here? Did they accuse you of something? Why are they on your porch threatening to kill you? People don't just do that for no reason at all. That is a good question, though. Why are they yelling death to America?
They want to ignore all of the mischief, all of the shit we done to their country in installing the Shah and doing regime change and all of that shit over oil 40 or 50 years ago. They just want to ignore all of that and just say, well, they saying it today, so we should. He got on here talking about we should use nukes on the fucking people of Iran. That's how sick these motherfuckers is. They talk about other human beings as if they're part of some board game. We would just get it done. Who says that we should bomb their infrastructure and they could just get more? Well, then what the fuck's the point of doing it if they're gonna just get more? They just want to kill and harm people, and they don't give a fuck about human life unless it's them.
You make it sound like MAGA are just monsters. But he's not MAGA. My last caller is not MAGA. He's
MAGA. He is definitely MAGA. You can call yourself whatever you want to, but them talking points that he has, all of it's MAGA. And we said this a long time ago, didn't we, Tim? We said after a while, when this shit starts getting bad, people are going to deny that they were ever part of this fucking cult. So he thinks he can just get rid of the name. I'm not MAGA, but I espouse every single thing that they believe in. Then you're MAGA. I don't understand why you're afraid to say it if you believe every fucking thing that they say.
Well, he does have some similarities with MAGA on this. I mean, there's some conversations where he differs, but this one he didn't differ on anything. Him and Straight Talk were pretty much neck and neck on that one. His opinions and Straight Talk are the same. So, and I see in the comments someone says you have TDS, Dome Eve or something says you got. I don't know.
I bet you he got it. I bet he got his car wrapped. I bet he got all kinds of paraphernalia and everything. But I'm the one with TDS.
He said he got his car wrapped. Got Trump's face on the car, huh? I never could figure out what Trump derangement syndrome is, because you're right. People could have Trump's face tattooed on their bicep and shit, and they never be called, they never have TDS. It's only people that speak negatively of Trump that have TDS. Meanwhile, like somebody said, Trump underwear on.
You can sit there and explain to them. that Trump just earlier today said some bullshit about they want to make a deal. They came back and said, we don't know who the fuck he's talking about. And they talking about, oh yeah, maybe that's a part of his negotiation. It's not a fucking negotiation.
What I don't get is Hegseth was on TV earlier saying we've expanded our operation, so we're not going to start seizing their ships thousands of miles away from the Strait of Hormuz. He is saying that. And Trump is also indicating we're currently at a ceasefire. How can you be seizing ships with the military and the Marines during a ceasefire?
Look, and they doing the same thing. They over there blowing shit up, talking about we got a ceasefire, and they said we ain't agreed to shit. I don't even know what he's talking about. Yeah, it sounds to me, maybe you correct me if I'm getting this wrong in your opinion, but to me it sounds like Trump wants a ceasefire and Iran does not. Trump wants to get the hell out of this goddamn quagmire he done fucking started. He thought it was going. He's doing the Putin playbook. He thought it was going to be a 2-week mission. He could get in, get out, stabilize gas prices and everything before the midterms. Now he's talking about indefinite ceasefires, and we need them to figure out what their proposal is going to be. You got people like handsome conservative talking about, yeah, we should just maybe, if we're not going to nuke them, we should just go ahead and just run in there, boots on the ground, and just get it over with. And then when you ask them a question like, what is going to be the goal with boots on the ground? We've already taken out most of their military infrastructure. What, they going to go in there and start killing civilians?
Yeah. Well, you did hear him suggest that infrastructure would be fair game. So yeah, you heard him say that. I think what he's talking about doing is beating the Iranian people into submission to the point where, like Gaza, that's what Netanyahu was doing. Just turn them into the Stone Age. Hasn't Trump used that phrase, back to the Stone Age with them?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he may be getting talking points from Benjamin Netanyahu.
But the problem is, it's 94 million of them. And when he asked you the question, I think he should have been more forceful in saying, no, we cannot bomb them out of their civilization. The Persians have been around since the beginning of time, and they're going to be around no matter what happens during this war. What he's talking about is mass murder, is Hitler-like kind of stuff, where you just talk about just getting rid of a whole civilization. Iranian people are all over the world.
Well, they wouldn't be welcome anywhere Trump has any control over.
Well, that's also just what we call them because of what? Because of the lines that were drawn to create these civilizations. Those are the same people. Iranians and Iraqis are the same people.
Well, here's the conservative.
Line after the World War and said, well, these people over here are this and those people over there are that. You can't bomb the Persians out of civilization.
Well, handsome conservative, my last caller, is in the comments on Instagram. He says, what I said was, it seems like we're going to put boots on the ground. Now, you said, I got you on tape, didn't Cal, a few weeks ago. I was drilling you, asking you, were boots going to be put on the ground? And you were adamant that Trump is not going to put boots on the ground. Has your position on that changed?
No, not at all. He does not want this to turn into the next Iraq. If only for his ego, he doesn't want this to turn. He doesn't want people to turn on the TV every day seeing a list of American soldiers and sailors who have passed away like we did during Iraq.
So then, without putting boots on the ground, his original objectives, which were to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, regime change, and I guess protect, I'm going to put an asterisk by this one, protecting the protesters from the government. But those are the three things he talked about: regime change and him having something to do with the new regime that replaced the old. He said that. No nuclear weapon. So if he doesn't put boots on the ground, can he meet those objectives?
No, that is the problem. He cannot. But he's already walked away from two of those things. He's already basically said, well, the Iranian people, you had your shot and you didn't do nothing. Then he said, we sent them weapons, but somebody stole them.
Yeah.
So now we're not mad at the people who stole the weapons. We're just gonna say, hey, they stole them, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, he said the weapons were beautiful or something like that.
Yeah, he said the Kurds, I think he said, stole the weapons, and yeah. So that's the end of that part. And then he came out and said, "Well, I never really said regime change was one of the goals,
Yeah,
but even though it did happen, even though we know it didn't happen, because you don't take out the leader and put his son in charge and call that regime change.
So
nothing changed about that whole society. Nothing.
So then what is this going to be, a complete failure?
Trump will spin it and make it seem like it's like he won something. I don't know how he's gonna do it. You know how he do his little thing where he just start making up shit. But now I think he's running down to one of his last things he's gonna end up having to do is make a deal with Iran so they can jointly benefit and run the Straits of Hormuz, which is contradictory to everything we know. They can't go in there and get the what do you call it, the powder.
So what you're basically saying is that Iran could come out of this, at least financially, considerably better than they went into it.
They already are now. They're charging people, and yes, we sanctioned some stuff. But if you look at foreign news and you look at reputable news sources, ships are going by every day. Even though the Americans are doing what they're doing, they're not stopping everything.
Yeah, one of the Lego videos talks about that the strait is open and business is flowing through. It's just as close for America and Israel. They got a Lego video that talked about that about a week ago or so.
Right. And so Look, people mistake me from saying that we're on the wrong side of history to saying that I don't want our country to be successful. I just don't like that a person put our men and women of the armed services in these positions to where they're talking about life or death. You got all of these bases all around the Middle East, UAE, Bahrain, every place. They were not protected. Our soldiers and sailors were on those bases not protected. And that's why some of them died. And people want to go back to Joe Biden, and it was 13 people who died. And look, it was bad. We know it was bad. Some bad planning. But it was a sincere effort to pull us up out of a 20-year war. This guy got us into a war, did not protect our service members, and people acting like it's nothing. It's nothing. Hundreds of people have been injured. They don't even talk about them people.
No, they ain't covered. Well, I assume we'll find out once the Trump administration or the smoke is cleared. We will find out exactly how much it costs, what we were being told, whether it was accurate or whether it was not. Certainly with so many members, top brass of the military getting kicked out and removed from duty.
That's crazy. In the middle of a blockade, we kick out the Secretary of the Navy?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do what them people, them Congress people on that commercial said.
Yeah.
I will not follow illegal orders. No.
Yeah. If the Democrats end up winning the midterms, you're going to hear from those folks, because that's going to be part of when they're going to bring those folks up for congressional testimony and probably tell them, there might be some classified shit, but they're going to let them talk. They're going to let them, like the admiral that quit down in the Venezuela theater, that black admiral. All of them folks are going to be telling their stories of why they left or why they got fired or why they resigned.
And they would probably already be doing it if the Trump administration wouldn't have put the chilling effect by going after Mark Kelly, going after his retirement and all of that. Yep. They're probably like, look, I ain't saying shit until a different administration is in there.
Well, you be in jail. Yeah, they'll throw you in jail. So
we don't want to. So we can't know the truth about what's going on in our military. Did you see the interview we had yesterday or today? And everybody who asked him a question, no, that's just stupid. You're asking silly questions. That's the whole point about them having a press conference is to ask some questions, and every question they ask them, only a crazy person would ask that kind of question. Like, What's the whole point of you answering questions? It's just like you say, well, he is transparent. He will talk. He's talking and not saying nothing. What's the point?
He talks, but yeah, often some of the times it's not of any value. I got to move it on Dencal, but absolutely, I look forward if there is a victory in November. You just go. Next year is just going to be court case after court case after court case. Better
it be in court case after court case than it being people out on the streets getting snatched up, wars going on illegally with no justification and no thorough plan. Yeah, I guess if that's the way our system was designed, I guess that's what we got to do. But I still stand by what I said. I don't believe that they're gonna put boots on the ground to do a ground invasion.
Yeah, I already got you on tape.
Political suicide.
I already got you on tape chopped up. I'm looking forward to playing it back to you. I was going to put it on my TikTok, but anyway, I got to move it on.
I bet you we would have thought by now it would have happened.
Yeah, I did. I absolutely did. So
yeah, it's a reason why he ain't pulled the trigger on that yet. It might be another October surprise, but right now, I look, the people, the MAGA, the people we just ain't down with it right now.
No.
None of these gas prices like they is.
Yeah, you got Republicans that are saying they draw the line at boots on the ground. Let me ask you real quick before I let you go. Now, he only gets 60 days to do this without congressional approval, an actual declaration of war. And that's only like 8 or 9 days away. Do you think Congress is going to vote to let him continue?
No. That's why they won't have the vote right now. If they had the votes to let him continue, they would just do it right now. There's a reason why they won't have the vote.
So Mike Johnson is... I gotta go.
You answer your own question.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Tim.
Thank you, Dencal. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, and I will say that I've said this before is that by the way, tap the screen, get the likes up to 150. One of the things they need to do going forward in the future is prevent the Speaker of the House from votes being able to take place. You got 500 and some odd members of Congress. If you get a majority, just like you can veto, you can go around the president, if you got a majority, there should be a way that if enough members of Congress want to vote on something, they can force Congress back into session, even if the Speaker of the House doesn't want it to happen. Because he has the power now to hold up all the Congress. One dude. He is loyal to Trump. And look, at the end of the midterms, for instance, let's say, for instance, the Democrats do well in the congressional midterms. They got to be sworn in by Mike Johnson. Remember when the government was closed, there was a congresswoman that had won in Arizona, and Mike Johnson refused to swear her in. She was a Democrat. Well, I want the government to be open. I'm not going to swear. He could have done it. He's done it before for a Republican candidate when the government was closed. He just refused to do it. They need to have a law where if you got a majority, and I don't know if the Democrats would have had the majority anyway, but one guy should not be able to shut down Congress by himself. I just think that's insane that one guy can do that. So essentially, he does have some significant powers in addition to Trump. What if Trump claims some of those Democrat Congress people won by fraud? Trump is alleged fraud in every election he didn't like that went his way. What if he alleged that some of the Democrats who won by fraud and convinces Mike Johnson, until there's an investigation, don't swear him in? You think Mike Johnson's going to resist? So I don't know. Like I said, in the future, once we move on in the future, I think the Trump administration has shown us some loopholes, in my opinion, that the founding fathers never thought a president would do. I mean, Trump has shown us what can happen if it's all done on the honor system. I'm not saying he's breaking laws. What I'm saying is he's pushing the envelope. He's doing things that are non-traditional that the founding fathers probably would have written laws if they thought somebody would try that. So that's what I'm talking. Like, for instance, telling the vice president not to certify the election in 2020. If the people have voted this way and you don't have any proof to suggest otherwise, you can't just tell the guy, well, I think I won, so don't certify the election. Stuff like that. I really think that they're going to have to end up passing some laws to prevent certain loopholes from being exploited. Another one I often say, while Trump, or anybody else for that matter, not just Trump, but while you're president, you can't be sued. But you can sue other people. I don't think the founding fathers ever expected that to happen. In most cases, when people fuck with the president just lets it roll off his back. President Trump is actively suing people. You think Fox News didn't say something wrong about Biden or Obama when they were president? They didn't sue the damn network. But Trump is. But Trump can say all sorts of wrong, slanderous things about CNN or MSNBC or MS Now, or whatever it's called, and they can't sue him. But if they say something about him, he can sue them from the Oval Office. Trump says all kinds of shit about the news networks that are not true. I was at a Trump rally when he told the people, after he made some kind of controversial statement that everybody was applauding, see, CNN won't show you that. See the lights going on. He was joking, but they were feminine. He was just lying and trying to make it sound like CNN would not show certain shit. Now I'm 3 or 4 rows back from Trump at the rally. I can clearly see the cameramen back there, though. They're feminine. They didn't turn their cameras off. So he can lie about them, and they can't sue. They can't do anything. But then if they lie about him, he comes after them. That needs to be stopped. While you're president, there is no lawsuits going either way. Period. There's no lawsuits going either way. Because, Haitian migrants are eating cats and dogs. That should be normally a class action lawsuit. If let's say, for instance, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or somebody made a wild-ass statement like that, they could put in a class action suit against him. People came to the city. We were getting bomb threats. The Klan showed up and all kinds of shit after these wild accusations. But as president, you can't do nothing about it. But if they say it about him, then he can come in town and start suing people. That absolutely needs to change. There's nothing fair about that at all. That needs to change. Iranians are literally using Russian weapons to hit Americans, says Dan Cow. Yeah, but yet we removed the sanctions. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how the Iranian conflict or whatever this is going to end. I tend to think that the Congress, if they do have a vote, they're going to vote to stop this for the simple fact of the midterms being so close. Right now, because Congress has not officially declared war on Iran or authorized anything, they can kind of indicate that they don't have nothing to do with what Trump is doing and blame it all on him, even though they're not doing their jobs and not speaking up. But once they're forced to vote, they can't say that anymore. Now people can show up at town halls and shit and accuse them of voting to support this war or voting against it. Now their names will be on it. That's supposedly less than 10 days away. We'll see how that happens. We'll see how that goes. But I think that's another thing we may have to investigate doing in the future. You can't let one man do all this by himself. Even if you agree with President Trump, he shouldn't be able to do all of this by himself. He literally threatened to commit an act of genocide on Iran. And we all stood back and let him show us whether or not he actually meant it or not. Nobody was going to get in his way. He told the nation of Iran, better yet, he told the entire world that an entire civilization was going to die in like 48 hours or something at the time. And our entire nation stood back and, well, let's see if he actually means it or not. We left it up to him to decide if he was going to commit an act of genocide on our behalf or not. That shouldn't happen. we can bring up the fact that Obama or Biden launched little missions here and there and they didn't get congressional approval. Nothing like this is taking place. This is way greater than anything any other president did on their own. This is way greater than that. So, yeah, this is another one where I believe, and I can come up with a host of these things where I believe, I'm calling them anti-Trump laws or whatever you want to call them, but things where Trump pushed the loophole, or better yet, pushed the envelope, or found loopholes that you're going to have to prevent in the future from happening. I'll tell you this, even to my beloved MAGA, to my folks on the right that are very much supportive of President Trump. Trump came down the golden escalator in 2015. Let's go back to 2014, 2013, during the Obama presidency. If you had have asked MAGA, should a felon be able to run for president? You think they would have said yeah? You think they would have agreed to that? That's another one. If you got felonies, you shouldn't. If you got felonies, you can't do a whole lot of jobs. You can run for president. So I just think that Trump has been able to show us that some changes need to be made. Now, MAGA's agreeing with a lot of things now because Trump is in office, or it benefits Trump, that they would not have agreed with before. You think what President Trump did, state of Texas, I need 5 more congressional seats. Just called it out. It's not based on the people of Texas voting on it, anything. I just need 5 more seats. I want to make sure I win the midterms. You think MAGA would have been okay with that? A few years before Trump became president? You think they would have thought that was something that should be accepted? So to some degree, we're changing rules because we favor Trump in ways that we would have been adamantly against before. So I really think that after Trump, we're going to probably have to end up reevaluating the system that was written by the founding fathers, because nobody expected a president to push the envelope and find loopholes in all of these areas it's not illegal what he's doing in many of these cases. It's just stuff nobody expected would happen. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 150,000. We kind of reached the TikTok cap goal. I think we got close. Some of you folks showed the program some love. Nevertheless, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys take care. Have a good night. I got to go.